What time? ATW time. Why do I say that? Because literally 5 years ago, this simple man, this guy, not that this guy experienced, but please subscribe to him, my family that we've become, from the enforcer to the preacher man to our queen to the indie darling to the party man to the bearer of all things news. If you want to send him the link, go ahead to. Again, we've been doing this for a long effing time. As we're 5 years in on this fun since AEW came into existence and our family came to be. Because we truly love, encompass, celebrate, and enjoy all things wrestling. So let's freaking go. Welcome once again to another impromptu show. As I'm keeping it simple with this intro because we're tired. Beach. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again back to the AEW Impromptu. You know what this is. If you don't, I will be happy to introduce you. It's unscripted, it's uncensored, it's unscheduled, it's out of nowhere. But it's the forum where me and my family come together and sometimes have guests like this gentleman and discuss all things wrestling. So welcome to the 5-year anniversary of the ATW View Impromptu. I'm, of course, Noel Foster with the KG King and a guy that's just as much as ATW that he is simply reliable, the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. And JJ, it's absolutely a pleasure having you part of the family, and I love the fact that you are part of this thing forever with us. Welcome, guys. I can't believe we reached this milestone. Again, shout out to AEW fam, including Out Limited too. Sienna Chanel, please follow on the socials on her pursuit to be part of the wrestling business, as well as my friend Mary Jade across the pond, continues to prove that Jazz is more than gold. Bearer of all things news, Eric Brown, of course, preacher man Casey Flynn, the biggest Dakota Kai fan you'll ever know, and a great singer of the Canadian national anthem. Our enforcer Lex, Jose, Josh, you know who you are. JD Ultra. Again, nothing but love to you, fam. Happy anniversary. Before we get into basically anything and everything, before we get to our main events, of course, will be Revolution previews and thoughts. Let's go ahead and see how you guys are doing. First off, King, happy 5th anniversary, bro. Can't believe I've been doing this for right now since 2020. Revolution, my tight was the first episode. And here we are. So first off, how you been? How you feeling?
First off, happy 5-year anniversary to this ATW fan with you, bruv. Always been a pleasure. Hopefully 5 more years to come. I give or take, but I've been doing pretty good, feeling pretty great. Revolution Week has started off on a very high note with we just saw a Dynamite. So looking forward to previewing and predicting with you guys as always.
Yeah, and of course, that's not the only thing going on when you figure about Pro Wrestling Noah, WWE, NXT. Here's NXT! Damn it. Freaking DDT Pro, freaking Stardom, freaking TJPW, freaking NJPW, freaking Sendai Girls, freaking Marigold, freaking TNA, freaking ROH, freaking NWA, freaking HOG. I'm going to stop there for now. I literally, when I say all things wrestling, I freaking mean it, as I watch wrestling 6 days a week. But that being said, JJ, I literally pointed out your brand, your NXT, damn it. And we're definitely going to talk a little bit more about that and WWE with some things we have seen recently, just saying. But hey, man, you've been part of the AEW fam now for I think about a year or so, ever since we conglomerated with the Simple Reliable Studios coming into live. And of course, King being part of Open Mic Night and expenses of my dinner at UNCN. Damn you both. But that being said, with more of that coming up, and I'm sure you two are already planning, because I'm sure you try to message her sometimes, because I know you and Sienna are still close friends. Again, Sienna, cheers, pal. But JJ, good to have you here. How you feeling, brother, with everything, wrestling and life?
Well, let me just start off the gate by saying congratulations to 5 years, gentlemen. Definitely a hell of a milestone to reach. And yeah, I've been in and out of here for about the past year. But man, life in wrestling right now is good. You know, I am still watching Dynamite because I started an hour late because me and Walter covered the premiere episode of WWE Evolve tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right, y'all did.
So, and man, that an hour show, kind of like old school NXT, 3 matches. And it was solid. There was a lot to take away. I see good things.
I love that.
Shawn Michaels made the matches for the first night. He then passed things over to Ava. She's going to be running Evolve just like she does NXT. We see what her mind does on NXT on a consistent basis. So But yeah, man, like we say it all the time around WrestleMania time, and season's right around the corner. I've said it multiple times on streams just this past week. Wrestling is so hot right now
Amen.
that literally, if you cannot find something to enjoy, get the F out the fandom.
Oh, my brother, testify
If you
will.
don't like WWE, you got AEW. If you don't like AEW, you got TNA. If you don't like TNA, you got Lucha. If you don't like Lucha, you got Joshi. You got Strong Style. You've got
Keep going.
all the different things. You've got the various independent promotions that you can find on YouTube, on Triller. There's multiple women's promotions out there that just put the spotlight on the ladies, showing the further evolution of what started with the knockouts, was carried to the next level by the WWE, and has been going strong with the fact that my NXT quite possibly has the best women's division stateside right now. Definitely when you consider the next generation of women, hands down.
Case in point on my last list.
But it is good, and I am looking forward to discussing whatever you guys have on deck tonight.
Well, as I always say at the end of the review, it has no freaking schedule outside our main event. It's truly impromptu. It just looks at all things wrestling and comes and celebrates that. So I think without further ado, great opening statement, JJ. And again, figured everybody that's made this possible, not just the AEW fan, but all you viewers that watch this and listen to us crazy yahoos on demand. I don't do these things live because I'm simple. But who knows? Maybe next time I will go live with this. If this hits 100 views, then I will go live personally with the next episode, which, ironically enough, it will be either Dynasty or, God help us, WrestleMania. So stay tuned for more on that. But yeah, I think without further ado, gentlemen, why don't we go ahead and get right into stuff? I want to kick things off when we look at all things wrestling. I mean, he subtly addressed the biggest elephant in the room. JJ, you and I saw, and shout out to Geekbox, by the way, subscribe, probably in King's words, the biggest heel turn since Hulk Hogan Bass at the Beach, if not surpassed, considering it's 2 decades plus of a man that we've seen clearly be the face for everybody to buy into, to believe, never gives up, never sells out, always stays pure. And then this happened. Let's go ahead and talk about the biggest thing that happened in this business since insert event here. Cody Rhodes said, go fuck yourself. An emphatic no, but the final boss engaged John Cena and took Cena's soul. Our WrestleMania main event right now, guys, is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Final boss endorsed. And someone tells me that's not going to be clear as cut as a simple championship match, considering I just got done watching WrestleMania 40 again, which, of course, you and I called the finish to Cody's first story. I think we might be looking towards the finish of his second story, 1 year to the day. JJ, I know this probably been talked about in the review. I know you've talked about it in spaces. I know you probably talked about it in chat. Once again, it's the impromptu, and now we're here together, and you can get King's perspective as you host the moderated madness on this conversation. You've had more time to digest, and of course, we won't know anything from Cody's side when it comes to the state of his mental being versus physical being till this Friday. And so far, we've seen every commentary language, child's cry, yes. We've seen us and every YouTuber alive react in a way that shock and awe and said about damn time. So again, JJ, you want to elaborate any further on this, or have any other thoughts or any other circumstances? Have you been boiling what the big first segment going to be on the road to WrestleMania, or do you want to hear King's for the first since you haven't heard nothing from Kim? What's your thoughts on this?
I kind of would like to throw it to Keen first because I have spoken a lot about this. Me and you discussed it. So I would kind of like to hear fresh thoughts about it before I retort or give my thoughts. I will just say, keep in mind, this is almost 30 years since the Hogan turn. Yeah. 29 to be exact. Just crazy that the next monumental turn came almost 30 years later.
Yep.
How things work in decades.
That's not to call that Austin's at 17 wasn't monumental, but the after effect didn't deliver as much as the initial turn did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So while the moment was shock and awe, it didn't have that oomph to it in the long run.
Yeah, versus this that just went. That's fair. So, King, JJ gave you the floor, and legitimately, none of us, including me, have heard high nor tail on your thoughts on this. So, what do you guys say, bruv?
I honestly did not see it coming. I mean, there were signs. I felt like the more videos I kept watching, of course, of course, it all started with Bad Blood when he did the countdown. When Rock came out of nowhere in Atlanta, when he started doing the countdown, and the first number he threw was this type of 3 right here. And then, of course, what the road to WrestleMania 40 last year with Rock and Cody, when Rock was shoving Cody, was like all up in his face, and there was a picture of Cena in the background. And of course, we saw Cena as part of that Bloodline Rules match last year at WrestleMania 40, but I would have never thought in my wildest dreams, after 22 years of this man becoming the face of the WWE, who he tried to go heel in 2012, but the old man rejected it. And now here we are in 2025, and every single child that you probably have ever seen on social media, every single, probably seen a parent out there that possibly still got Cena gear, still rocking in 2025, their hearts have been broken. Has anyone checked on the Make-A-Wish kids too? I'm just saying, because before Elimination Chamber, he granted another kid's wish before it even hit the airwaves at Elimination Chamber. And I'm just like, how dare you? You granted one final kid's wish, and then you do that. And then you do that. Like, what? How? And here I thought Cody was going to be Homelander, and I'm like, finally, we're going to get Cody becoming Homelander. We're going to get him being a heel. And then all it took was one hug, one facial expression turn, and then one cutthroat blow of the kiss, and the dream dies again for Cody. My goodness. I do got one complaint though. Travis Scott being out there like he was Dennis Rodman from back in the day in WCW. Why was he even there? I guess he was just doing it for the love of the game, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, he has the WrestleMania theme, to be fair.
Yeah.
And the heavy rumor is that he's going to be doing Cena's new heel theme.
Oh, and from what I've heard too, and take this with a grain of salt, I'm pretty sure if y'all seen the reports of Meltzer saying that Cody, of what Meltzer has reported days later, saying that Cody might have suffered a busted eardrum and a black eye because of Travis. And I ain't gonna lie, when I looked back on that, from what Travis did, yeah, it kind of looked a little bit harder than usual.
I heard it. That's for damn sure. We all heard that slap. I remember the last person that went shoot got legitimately almost concussed. Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, anybody? Cody Rhodes is going to get Travis Scott a reality check if he's not careful.
Exactly. So, but to see Cena go heel after 22 years of being the face of the WWE, that was, once again, I know I said it last year, but I'm going to say it again here. That was not on my bingo card, but it also give us fresh new matches for his retirement run, for his final run, and give us fresh new matches that we've never seen before from a heel Cena perspective. That's why I'm so intrigued about this. Now, I'm even more intrigued about Cena's final run here in WWE.
Well said. I mean, I talked about with JD verbatim why y'all call me the Nostradamus, because I called it. But
Nostradamus.
Nice.
I like that.
Look, Rock, Cena, tag matches with the likes of freaking CM Punk, who bombed the hell out of them on Monday Night Raw. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. A little segue, maybe. Maybe you finally get, Cody and Punk together. What does Roman think of all this? Why Roman is still MIA? But then again, next week, Monday, we're going to acknowledge the Garden. So just saying. Wink, wink. Again, the people talking about Stone Cold. And again, he was supposed to be there last year at WrestleMania, but maybe the money wasn't right. There goes The Undertaker. Undertaker's supposed to be retired. You never retire. The aspect of Cody going black hair if the American Nightmare dies again, like the Dream did. There's so many aspects. And again, this year marks so much in first-time history coming up, not just for Cena going heel, but WWE in general. Remember, 2-night SummerSlam. The stage that has defined John Cena more than WrestleMania his entire career, for being genuinely honest, despite the fact his record there effing sucks. Like, and of course, the first 2-night SummerSlam. And the thing with WWE with these 2-night spectacles that have been WrestleMania, the first night somehow affects the second night. That means we're going to get that cause and effect twice this year on WWE's 2 biggest stages of the year. So we are in for some huge ramifications regarding the WWE Championship, John Cena and The Rock, Punk, Cody, insert name right here when you figure about how many people Cena has history with and how many WWE superstars right now are also probably saying, what the fuck? So it is groundbreaking that this is happening. It almost reminds me of what happens when someone leaves like Disney or Nickelodeon. They lose their damn mind and like, finally, I'm off the leash. Hello, Miley Cyrus. So it's just one of those things where, hey, tell me I'm telling lies. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I'm all in on this WrestleMania. I have not been this excited, invested, intrigued in a WrestleMania since, I don't know when from an entire standpoint. 40 was the genesis. As we approach the 1-year anniversary of the Padres Vivek era, this is a hell of a follow that could very well surpass the freaking pilot. Ironically enough, you and Walter did freaking top 10 movies that were better. Sequels versus pilots. Go check that out, folks, in the archives. Subscribe to Rage of Wrestling Today and Casting Studios. But again, this right here, I'm just like, when does Cena first speak? What does he show up as? Is he wearing a suit? And does he confront Cody? Does he confront the universe? Does he sit down interview with Michael Cole in person, in a private room, or via satellites? What is the first rebuttal? What's the first domino effect? Now we have to build this match, which is official. We don't have a graphic yet, but WrestleMania 41, you got your main event, the main event. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. Nothing right now is bigger than that, in my opinion. Right now. So again, the road. We're 40 some odd days away. 44, I think. I lost count. So again, this is going to be absolutely insane. Now, again, think about domino effects. We could talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw as I segue into like an all things wrestling highlight. While JJ, of course, I'll get his thoughts. But we heard what CM Punk said from the get-go when he once again proved why he is the man that delivers the pipe bombs, calling out both The Rock and John Cena in very poetic fashion. So that being said, JJ, before we do my little thing with AEW review highlight first round, I talk about WWE stuff. Anything further you want to add to the fact Cena sold his soul and so far CM Punk's rebuttal?
First of all, CM Punk's rebuttal was fire.
Damn
right. I woke up this morning, and I know Keen will appreciate this, you not so much. But I woke up this morning and someone on Instagram had put the start of Punk's promo over different diss track beats. Someone did it over Hit 'Em Up. Someone did it over 50 Cent Back Down. There was a Kendrick one, a Drake one.
Oh, Lord.
But it was the opening, the same part of Punk's promo over each different diss track beat.
I'm about to check that out.
Of course
it was some shit to see. But
fair enough.
Man, it's funny because so many people out there, Keen included, said they never saw this coming. And while it wasn't my first thought, because my first thought was definitely Punk. You know, he's so desperate to get his Mania main event.
Yep.
Once you brought it up, the more I thought about it, the more I thought it made sense for it to be Cena. The more I started to think about the parallels between Cena and The Rock.
Yep.
Both men making their name in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, You've got the fact that Cena wanted to do this in 2011, 2012 when he fought The Rock the first time. New gear, new theme song, the whole nine. You got the fact that Cena was so pissed. His entire motive for that feud was The Rock turned his back on the WWE and went to Hollywood.
Yep.
What has Cena done these past 5-6 years? He's turned his back on the WWE and he's made a name in Hollywood.
Yep.
To the point where the Let's Go Cena sex chants have disappeared because absence makes the heart grow fonder. So everybody's been cheering Cena. He hasn't been getting any of those Cena sex chants when he would make his returns. What happened going into Deadly Game 98 when The Rock joined the corporation? He was organically getting over as a babyface. He was organically starting to get cheers from the crowds after being a heel for the better part of a year plus. So what does he do? He flips it back on him and takes those cheers away. What did Cena just do? Flipped it on him, takes those cheers away.
From a global standpoint.
You know, I'm curious, and I know we're going to get him on St. Patrick's Day as part of the European tour. I know he's been announced for those 3 dates. I'm curious if we get anything next Monday at the Garden.
It's the Garden, I'm just saying.
The Garden.
Or are they figuring to come back there one more time this year and they don't want to waste his final Garden appearance now?
The only dates that I've known that he's scheduled at least for SmackDown is the earliest one is like May 30th, I believe.
See, I didn't even know he was scheduled for any SmackDowns that far out.
Yep.
He had to be on a SmackDown at some point, though. It's the show that he literally built.
Right, but he seems like he's been more of a Raw guy, and with the Netflix thing, you think Netflix is going to want him on Raw more than on SmackDown, on free TV, so to speak.
That's fair.
Fair.
You know, so I was kind of doing the math in my head, and it's like, he announced he was going to do 36 dates. He's done 3 now. The Raw on Netflix, the Rumble, and the Chamber. So that leaves us with 33. We know he's going to be on the 3 Raws for the European tour. That brings us down to 30. So, and then I did the math, and there's about 20 dates if you just count Raws and the occasional PLE, because you know he's not going to be there on every PLE.
Oh, of course not. Kidding me?
But you've got about 20 dates from the Raw after Mania through SummerSlam, where he can be there every single week on Raw, like a champion should.
But he's not their champion. He's the Rock's
Doesn't matter.
champion.
Doesn't matter. We've only got him for 36 dates this year.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's 20 dates right there. So we've still got roughly 10 dates to sprinkle in with him on the back end from SummerSlam through the end of the year, once he's lost the title belt.
Because he has to lose it. I would think if he's going to literally be his last time is now. I mean, how long do you be the Rock's champion if you're not an active competitor?
Exactly. And even though he's no longer our champion, even though he's no longer quote unquote the people's champion, you're going to want to feature him as much as you can while he's the champion.
Oh, there's no doubt. Even if he's not like at the shows, you want to make sure that is present because that's how big this is. John Cena's heel run is going to be the story of the wrestling business for 2025 right now. Mark my freaking words. But yeah, that was the biggest thing to happen so far this year and in this business as I can remember. And JJ, I just saw you figured out something else. What just
well, yeah, there was one other thing I was going to say, and it's like, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get something from him on Monday night. I didn't expect him to be live, but I figured they could have filmed something with him and The Rock as they were leaving the chamber.
Right.
Right.
and thrown some, exclusive footage, have Kathy Kelly or Jackie Redmond or Byron Saxton, whoever, try to go up to him and The Rock as they're leaving after the press conference to get why Cena didn't say anything at the press conference. Why did he just walk in there, grab the microphone, drop it, and leave? And Cena didn't even have to say anything. He could have just gotten into the truck with The Rock, shut the door, and they drove off.
I just
But it would have
wonder.
been something to
Yeah.
help further things.
So I just wonder, in the realm of WWE having two marquee shows, if they're trying to make this as big as for both. And plus, it really does foundate around Cody Rhodes on SmackDown. They use Raw for more show, the exposure, the what the fuck, captured across the world by everybody imaginable, professional, non-professional, journalist, fan. So maybe to your point, though, they're holding out for that on Friday, and whether or not that's after we get Cody Rhodes' first rebuttal. Remember, we have not heard nor seen high nor tell of Cody Rhodes since that beat down and that freaking answer.
Yes, SmackDown is going to be huge because we're going to hear from Cody Rhodes, and Jade Cargill is supposed to be there.
Yes. So let's go ahead and talk real quick about Elimination Chamber as a whole before we segue into other stuff, where I'm sure we got a lot more to talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about the Chamber real quick. Again, I said it during our AEW watch along. That Elimination Chamber might have two of the best Elimination Chambers I've seen in a long damn time when it comes to the cause and effect, the flow, the story, and the actual recipient winning. Not disappointed, even if I was kind of wrong or right. I know you weren't disappointed, though your bitch cost you a point as Jade Cargill arrived back on the scene and destroyed freaking Naomi. Control yourself, you two. And destroyed freaking Naomi and JJ. I see that Cheshire Cat smile. JJ.
Can you blame me? Look at that woman. Throw that graphic back up. Can you blame me?
He's in a happy place.
You'll find a way to blame me. Can you blame me, King?
I can't blame JJ on this.
Thank you.
Okay.
Freaking hell. Anyway, Jade Cargill obliterated Naomi and sent her out on the stretcher while Bianca Belair was trapped and distraught, but still fought her way through winning the Chamber. Now Bianca Belair's on her way to WrestleMania. We saw Trish Stratus, 25 years of her career, celebrate back home in Toronto alongside Tiffany Stratton, Trishy Tippy Time, beat Nia Jackson, and Candice LeRae. We also, of course, saw, well, actually, it was a pure honor to listen to Jeff Meacham and JJ call Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, or as I like to say, Stephen McFly, El Generico versus Kevin Steen. If you know, you know, folks. And an unsanctioned fight where legitimately Kevin Owens might have fucking broke Sami Zayn's back. And I'll be surprised if we see him at WrestleMania, if not beforehand, or get some sort of update. I think he's on a long-term hiatus, and probably right for deserve. But we also know RKO is back, and RKO loomed at this beautiful sign. Makes me think that we might have another match yet to be official by WWE General Manager of SmackDown, Nick Aldis. Just saying. And then, of course, the men's chamber, we kick things off with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest destroying each other. Priest pinned Drew. Drew cost Priest. Logan pinned Priest. Priest went to sleep thanks to CM Punk. CM Punk, Seth, John Cena was left. Seth's hatred towards Punk cost him after a double team by Cena and Punk. Why Cena and Punk were the ones left, but Seth didn't leave the chamber. Curb stomped the man into the mat. Steal. And then John Cena with the sorry STF. John Cena wins. And of course, we already talked about the main event, but of course, Monday Night Raw gave us a little bit of an aftermath effect with CM Punk's legitimate pipe bomb. I can't remember the last time CM Punk delivered a pipe bomb that hot since his return to WWE, if I'm being genuinely honest.
People are saying he hasn't delivered that hot of a pipe bomb since 2011 and the original pipe bomb.
That might be accurate. Before we talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw and that, and talk about the events coming up, King, what's your closing thoughts regarding the Elimination Chamber PLE in general? Some call it the best PLE for the Chamber ever.
While I watched most of Collision, I didn't want to miss the Rock, Cody, and John Cena segment because I heard that segment was the main event of the show. But I did catch clips, especially Jade. But shout out to Bianca. Bianca sold that attack for Naomi from Jade like it was an Oscar winning because she was trapped in there. There was nothing she can do while Naomi's getting beat down by Jade Cargill, while Jade was automatically going right at Naomi, telling us she's the attacker. she's the one that done it.
Yeah. About to say, hell if no fury like a bitch scorn of that magnitude, because damn, did everyone look like they were freaking fearing that while they're all in the pods, except for maybe Liv Morgan, who was probably laughing hysterically. Because again, Liv was like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Well, she didn't do it.
Nope.
So, again, though, we'll hear from Jade tomorrow, though, on SmackDown. And again, JJ, you and I, we called this crazy madness. So, we're on the road to WrestleMania, bruv. So, there's just days till then. We don't have no PLE between then. So, virtually put it to sign because you and I are going to be on the call once again for the grandest stages of shows from the City of Sin, Las Vegas, WrestleMania 41, where we now know we have 3 matches official. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the Undisputed WWE Championship. We now know it'll be Bianca Belair challenging for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. We'll talk more about against who in a moment, another WTF moment, in my opinion. And, of course, we have Timothy Stratton defending the, what they call it, the WWE Women's Undisputed Championship against the Queen, Charlotte Flair. As I just got back done rewatching WrestleMania 39 today, and what was probably honestly, the last great non-NXT WWE Women's Championship match in WWE history, where it made Rhea Ripley the star that she's become today. Can the same thing happen at 41? We'll save that for simply predicting. And boy, if we're going to be predicting that, folks. Yeah, you don't know how many panels of madness I'm going to be moderating. Stay tuned for more on that. JJ, Jeff, and me, and one other person, possibly for an exclusive person.
All I know is they're already starting to plan that shit in the no DQ chat.
I saw that. Madman boss there, Riff. And if you think I'm going to watch you guys go on probably your longest predictions video ever, no, like LA Knight would say. I will be part of that, so stay tuned. Anyway, let's go ahead and shift gears into Monday Night Raw. We talked a little bit about the pipe bombs. Of course, this was the last Raw before we turned to the Garden, and they stacked the Garden quite well, especially with the caveat of we're going to see if something is finished, or we acknowledge a finish, or something else, as it will be Seth freaking Rollins versus CM Punk now inside a steel cage. So, Lord help both those men, because CM Punk literally wanted to rip Seth's head off, as Seth said, die, and literally may have killed his WrestleMania main event aspirations. Maybe. We also saw Ivy Nile had a great bout against Lyra Valkyria, as Lyra was able to successfully retain the Intercontinental Women's Championship. Ivy Nile has all the tools to be a female Kurt Angle of how good she is. That's why she's in that match with Chad Gable. That was a tremendous strength and agility outing by Ivy. She has so much upside. We saw the War Raiders raid against American Maids, Creed Brothers, and what was a heavy bout of some quite athletic gentlemen that have no F's when it comes to taking high risks off ropes. And what was a championship night of Monday Night Raw. And, of course, it culminated with Mommy Rhea Ripley defending the Women's World Heavyweight Championship against Io Sky, Bianca Belair at ringside. I did not mean for that to rhyme, but it is what it is when it comes to wordplay. And, of course, we saw Bianca was very much into this, but felt like she was cheering more Io, according to Mommy, as Mommy, the pressure maybe finally got to her, as we saw a very heartfelt post-Raw exclusive interview with Jackie Redmond, considering what happened. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you were thinking you're going to get EST versus Mommy? Io Sky freaking beat Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's Heavyweight Championship, and the biggest swerve I can remember for that women's title. What the hell? And this is the first Raw I watched full, keyword, full, since the Raw Netflix premiere. That's how invested I am right now in the freaking road to WrestleMania and the fact that there was Championship 9, all 3 of those championship bouts delivered. Thank you. I couldn't believe it. Clean as a whistle, too. That was an incredible match. Io Sky freaking beat Rhea again, but this means Rhea is out of WrestleMania. That's just bizarre to me right now to think, because the dream match I've been thinking about was Rhea and Bianca, and now it's not happening. So before we go into, again, another bit of transition, let's talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw. JJ, did you catch Raw this week?
Of course I did, bruv. Come on now.
Just making sure.
I'm all caught up except for the fact that I still have Dynamite on, getting caught up on that. But I was shocked. I'm not going to lie. I was shocked. I thought it was a shoo-in that Rhea was going to retain.
We all
You
did.
know,
I said
they,
on commentary, son. Friggin' Elimination Chamber. Continue.
they made sure to hype up multiple times how Rhea Ripley has never defeated Io Sky. So I thought with all that hype, this was going to be the moment that she defeats her. But how did she lose? She lost by taking her eyes off of the prize and focusing on Bianca at ringside.
Yep.
So what does that tell you? I see one of two things happening here. Either the easy road, it's going to be a triple threat. Bianca wins the chamber, gets her shot at Io, but Rhea has her rematch clause.
That's true.
So triple threat match WrestleMania. That way you can still get Bianca and Rhea, but because they're both strong, dominant women, they'd probably have a bit of a off match. Throwing Io in there, who's got the high flying ability, the daredevil, the acrobats, that's gonna throw that little kink and make it a little bit more interesting. So that's the easy road. The not so obvious possibility, well, obvious to me, but not so likely possibility that they'll do is somewhere between now and Mania, it'll be Rhea versus Bianca. Winner gets Io.
You would think that Rhea would gope Bianca into putting up her Elimination Chamber WrestleMania spot?
I think so. And here's what I would do if that happens. Bianca loses the match because of Jade Cargill. Divide and conquer. She beat the piss out of Naomi while Bianca was locked in a pod and couldn't do anything about it. There was no way Bianca could help her. Liv wasn't going to do shit.
Hell no.
Heck no.
So have Jade come out and beat the piss out of Bianca with Naomi unable to help her.
Do you think that Jade held off on destroying Bianca because she was inside that chamber?
Yes. Jade is a smart businesswoman. She may be not the most skilled wrestler, but if you look at her personal life outside, she is a smart businesswoman.
Oh, I know that.
I know that too.
Divide and conquer.
Yep.
And then you set up a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And it's very much like when Legacy fought each other.
WrestleMania 26.
Yep.
I just got done rewatching that. I've been rewatching random WrestleManias to prepare for this because fuck YouTube. Your advertisements during the matches are bullshit. And I'm just randomly watching some of my favorite WrestleMania matches for my favorite WrestleManias. And legitimately, I'm not lying. I watched WrestleMania 26, Sheamus versus Triple H, and Randy Orton versus his Legacy, and what was handicap and turned to triple threat. And then I started watching WrestleMania 40. But please continue.
So you've got that route you can go. Either way, you end up with a triple threat at WrestleMania. Either way, you've got a ton of story going into it because you've got the story of the attack going into the triple threat if it's the big three against each other. If you go the other route, the easy route, and you have Bianca versus Io versus Rhea, it's all about can Rhea conquer the unconquerable? Because Bianca is undefeated at WrestleMania, and Rhea has never defeated Io.
And the last
so does she win the championship back, finally defeat Io, and crush Bianca's undefeated streak all in one night?
Without Bianca being pinned to protect the fact that Rhea didn't beat Bianca one-on-one yet. I can see that actually because it's been a while since we've had a women's triple threat. WrestleMania 35 actually was the last time they did that. And it does feel like to me that Rhea is at a crossroads when it comes to looking at herself and her career. I almost wonder if Rhea's been unraveling ever since Charlotte Flair called her still a kid. It was WrestleMania 39 where Rhea said, beating Charlotte makes me into a star. And ever since beating Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39, which even you held up as one of the best women's championship matches of all time, Rhea has been on top. Mommy's been on top. Period. Simple as that, even without the title. But ever since really what has happened most recently to her, her words herself, she's lost that sense of invincibility. And I think it commented herself. And to your point, it bit her in the ass finally on Monday night, where she really gave Io this match, but took her eyes off the prize. Riptide countered while Rhea was sent down hard, over the top moonsault in the end. And the biggest shocker so far this year on Monday Night Raw, Io got the win and now is heading to WrestleMania. But I also noticed, have you stacked your cards in your deck yet? Because I've not seen the playing card official graphic for this championship match yet, I believe. So to JJ's point, and with Jade Cargill fully unspoken so far, that very well might be something to come, King. So what are your thoughts, though, with Monday Night Raw? Considering also we talked about the shocker with Rhea Ripley Sky. How about Jey Uso preaching the yeet, talking about the suspension of disbelief that maybe I can't do this, but I gotta believe that I can do this. And that's what I'm going to do at WrestleMania. Well, everyone just kept saying yeet. I guess yeet's the new amen when Jey Uso preaches. I'm for it. So,
yeet is the new what?
In that segment, it felt like amen because it felt like Jey Uso was preaching to me because, yeah, maybe Jey Uso is not that obvious to be the winner against Gunther, it seems. The more I think about it right now, guys, the more Triple H is questioning the actual, what most people call in the past, predictability when it comes to WWE, considering it's much more now how you unravel the story. I didn't expect you to win Monday night, and now I'm starting to think with what Jey Uso said, Jey Uso might go in here with everyone else having the confidence, but he still might lose. So, King, anything you want to say regarding Jay or the main event, or what JJ was maybe booking? Why you're not hired by WWE yet? Booking for possibly the Women's Heavyweight Championship.
See, and I didn't even think about that until JJ brought that up because, like I said earlier, Bianca was held trapped. There was nothing she could do while Jay was attacking Naomi. I didn't think about a divide and conquer strategy about that. It didn't even come across my mind. But he's on to something, as usual. I can actually see that. I can actually see that being a WrestleMania Big 3 right there. We had it at WrestleMania 26. We're going to get at WrestleMania 41, most likely. And what Io beating Rhea, it does make me question: is Rhea even going to be part of WrestleMania at all? Because it's still right now, it feels freshly weird that right now Rhea is not part of WrestleMania and Io is back on top being a champion, as she should, Triple H.
Accurate.
But it just feels a little weird that Rhea is not part of WrestleMania right now. It feels a little weird.
Again, we don't have any other PLEs. We don't have any other PLEs between now and WrestleMania. Let's keep that in mind. They legitimately did their last big stop. Now, truth be told, we got some major events that are going to be unique coming up that might bring more angles and bring more to the WrestleMania match card as I try to prophesize what the match card could be for those that look at my posts. I kind of enjoy doing these posts on a daily basis. Kind of a little fun. But it's one of those things now where this WrestleMania is so much up in the air, not just with the matches, but the results. It's insane. But again, congratulations to Io Sky, Lyra Valkyria, and the Warriors and your successful tower defenses and what was a tremendous championship night of Monday Night Raw. And I guess we'll see the SmackDown aftermath for the Chamber when we hear from Cody and we hear from Jade Cargill. You saw what she did physically. What's she going to say verbally? Good Lord Almighty. Good luck with that. She might give us a whole different form of a pipe bomb. Because Jade is very outspoken when given the opportunity. If you followed her career like I had in AEW, just saying.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that being said, before we transition, a few things in all things wrestling as I look at all things wrestling. In Marigold at the end of the month, Utami Hayashida will defend the Marigold World Championship against Bullzilla. Bullzilla being one of the most promising young athletes, of course, across the Marigold roster. In Stardom, Saya Kamatani and Tim Nakano are putting their careers on the line where one will retire at the Yokohama Arena in April when the World of Slam Championship and both ladies' careers are on the line. That's how insane this hatred and this journey with these two women have become. One of their stardoms falls permanently. New Japan Pro Wrestling, of course, we have the New Japan Cup coming up, and I want to give a shout out to another great friend here of the AEW Fam and Samoa Studios. Please subscribe today to Batty for Wrestling, courtesy of Ash, and you can follow her at ShadowBatAsh on the X for further updates, as she, of course, will be covering primarily New Japan content along with WWE and AEW. She just started her channel, so just like Rage of Wrestling, subscribe. Please give her a subscribe. I will put a link to her channel in the description down below. Again, subscribe to my friend Ash at Batty for Wrestling. Of course, she'll be talking about the New Japan Cup that's coming up here very shortly. Here's your entire field. Stay tuned, as maybe not just her, but maybe me will also do a simple bracketology or a simple talk about the New Japan Cup. And speaking of New Japan, somehow John Cena's last time. Gentlemen, Hiroshi Tanahashi has one last chance to become IWGP World Champion literally in a few hours as he takes on Hiroki Goto in the main event at New Japan Pro Wrestling's anniversary show. And considering that title is being defended at New Japan of America this year, both Windy City Riot and Resurgence, where the Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita, has called out Tanahashi for his last match here in America at Windy City Riot, we might literally have the Ace become a freaking 9-time world champion in less than 8 hours. Yes.
The only problem I foresee with that, and just semantics here because I don't really follow Japan.
That's fine.
But they've billed Windy City Riot as his final match in the States. If he wins the title and you said the title is being defended at Resurgence, that makes that advertisement a lie.
Correct.
So one would tend to think he's not going to win because they don't want to false advertise.
I would think, because I think New Japan's more integral to that. And, of course, in pro wrestling, Noah Ozawa now has the GAC Heavyweight and National Championship. And things are even crazier there. And Stardom starting their Cinderella tournament, their version of the New Japan Cup. As defending champion, Hana will defend the glass slipper, and we'll see who makes the Cinderella dream come true this year. And that's just some stuff going on across all things wrestling. So let's go ahead and segue back into the States, and let's talk about JJ's brand, because, of course, we have the Garden next week, but we also have the Garden Theater, as, of course, your brand hits a roadblock. Let's go ahead and talk about NXT and what's coming up there, because NXT has given us a stacked card, and here's a brief rundown for you folks. We have the TNA Tag Team Champions being defended by the Hard Boys, taking on Flexium, courtesy of the director of Authority, Santino Marella. We also had, and thank you for that behind the scenes. We also, of course, have Ego. Ego up in Page looking to once again rearrange Javon Evans' smile permanently. This time in a street fight. How fitting. We're in New York City. Dadgummit. We also have Roxanne Perez and Jordan Grace finally running it back one-on-one from the UFC Apex last year at Battleground. We also have The Ruler versus the Franchise. I can't believe I just said that. The Ruler versus the Franchise for the NXT Championship as Obafemi defends against Moose. And what I think has to be the main event, it is La Primera versus Beautiful Madness, title for title, as the NXT Women's Championship and NXT Women's North American Championship are both on the line. Winner take all. And that is all next week, Tuesday night at NXT Roadblock, which we will be covering at Samoa Studios along with the Madison Square Garden show. So that being said, this guy's going to spearhead this conversation. If he wants to talk about cause and effect or anything that happened on this week's NXT, including maybe what somebody once called Stan, I now give him the floor. JJ, your hype, your excitement, your fuss towards NXT Roadblock, and what's been going on in NXT this week?
Well, let me start off by saying God bless this NXT TNA partnership.
Damn it.
I am loving this with each and every week, man. We're finally getting the match that Noah told Walter and I to give up on. Obafemi versus Moose. Stop asking for it. It's never going to happen. Get over it. It's not happening.
Okay, I hate Crow. Okay, enough of that. Continue. Damn it.
And here it is.
Yeah, I'm going to just put it up here for 15 seconds. Go ahead. Keep talking.
The Ruler versus the face of the franchise. Two Nigerian monsters doing battle, not in a TNA ring, but an NXT ring at the
Damn it.
theater at Madison Square Garden.
Damn it.
Like, is there really a bigger stage that isn't called WrestleMania? You're basically wrestling at Madison Square Garden. Like, come on. It
Yeah.
is the mecca of sports entertainment for a reason.
Yep. No lies detected.
You know, it's like going on a pilgrimage to a temple or something. You know what I mean? It's like that's how important the garden is to wrestling.
The garden, if you will.
The garden is the garden, Vinny. But
Nothing like it.
and this week's show was solid between the main event for the North American title and your new North American champion.
He got it.
And I figured he would. Tony D, and I love Tony D'Angelo. Like, even going back to when I first came into NXT during the Rainbow Bright 2.0 era, and it was the D'Angelo family versus the Legado del Fantasma. There was something about Tony D that captivated me. He just had that something, that charisma, that way about him. And unfortunately, you could tell that time was ticking on his North American title run. There have been other opportunities here lately where I thought he was going to lose it. I thought he was going to lose it to Ridge Holland in their last match.
Same.
But he did not. It's kind of been the Fraxium thing. Every match he's had here lately thought has been the one where they're going to lose it. And he just kept holding on to it by the skin of his teeth. But something about that Izzy Dame turn, I think, really rattled him character-wise, and he hasn't recovered. And he ended up losing the title to Shawn Spears here. And then you had Zarya and Sol Ruka versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven.
Oh.
As Sol Ruka snatched the soul from Chelsea Green.
What?
Allowing Zarya to get the pinfall. And I made this comparison to Walter when we were doing the Evolve watch along. Because the Evolve commercials have shown Wendy Chu and Gallus as part of the commercials.
Yes.
So I'm looking at that as they're basically the NXT elder statesmen that are coming down to Evolve to help the new kids work the WWE style so that they're prepped for their eventual NXT debut. If you look at the people from the main roster that keep coming down to NXT, and if you notice who they work with, those are the people that traditionally get drafted. So to have Chelsea and Piper working with Sol Ruka and Zarya, I wouldn't be surprised if one or both of them ends up getting drafted this year. It's a test to see if they're ready to work with the main roster.
I always consider deadline your final exam, but I do see what you're saying. And considering I could talk about Lyra, the call-ups from last year, Lyra Valkyria, Ilya Dragunov, one's injured, one's the first ever WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. What a hell of a run for Lyra, not even a year in her main career, where her dream match is actually Asuka.
And don't forget Carmelo Hayes, number one draft pick.
He just hasn't had a championship yet, but yeah, you're right. He's been a predominant face on SmackDown. Now this tag team dynamic, curious what that does with him and The Miz, since The Miz has never worked well with anybody.
Nope.
Show Miz.
I watched 26. I skipped that match on purpose. All right.
Miz and Morrison, they had a decent run. They kept coming back to each other.
Yeah, and then they also had a YouTube show before YouTube shows were a thing.
The Dirt Sheet.
Yeah, the Dirt Sheet. The only Dirt Sheet I remember watching and never watched.
The only Dirt Sheet I subscribe to. But anyways. But yeah, dude, this Roadblock show is going to be fire. Then we had a segment this week where the Hardys were in the ring Fans were just showering them with love, welcome home chants.
You're not.
And essentially the entire tag team roster started coming out. Hank and Tank came out there. Briggs and Inamura came out there.
I like that idea.
Then Fraxium came out there, of course, to set up more for their match. But like,
case in point,
I don't think anything is changing hands at Roadblock except for the women's match. And unfortunately, the only reason, well, it's title for title, someone's got to win, but the only reason they're doing this is because it's rumored that Julia is injured.
Bingo.
And how long is she going to be out? You know, if it was something that was work throughable, they probably wouldn't be pulling this yet. They'd at least wait till Stand and Deliver. But if she's got to go, if she's got to get surgery, if she's in a position like Cody was going in that Hell in a Cell where whatever is damaged and you're not going to do any more injury to it. So go out there, do it, be careful. But you pretty much know that you can't mess it up any more than it's already messed up. Whatever it is, I don't even know what it is that's injured.
I don't even know either. So all they said is she's injured and she's going to work through the match. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Stephanie Vaquer is more than likely walking out of there with both titles. What do they do from there? Do they have her pull a Keith Lee and defend both titles? Does she do double duty at Stand and Deliver, defending the world title and the North American title?
Does she vacate the North American like Keith Lee did to your
Or
point?
does she vacate it? You know, it's like, I don't know. Like, I could see Stephanie being a badass bitch enough to defend them both.
Well, yeah, La Primera.
True.
Champion of Champions.
I mean, you figure she can defend one week and the other the next week as far as regular television. But Stand and Deliver, she'd have to pull some double duty.
Well, she did the same thing down in Mexico in CMLL when she was both the women's world and the women's tag team champion. Yeah. So again, it would not be new to her. But I also think about this. We talk about cause and effect. The two night spectacles, of course, being WrestleMania first ever SummerSlam. JJ, you know those are not the only two women involved in that night. And one woman particularly said she's here for some championship gold, damn it, while another one is looking to get history made to become the first 3-time NXT Women's Champion. I could see cause and effect if this injury is not as bad as we think and they're just lingering it. And this one-on-one could have two more elements added before all four could Stand and Deliver. Maybe not for both titles either. Just saying.
Well, I'm fairly certain Roxanne is moving up to the main roster. I mean, hell, she just was in the Elimination Chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Roxanne versus Bayley is going to be a Mania match, not a Stand and Deliver match.
I hope personally it's at WrestleMania. But I can see Roxanne pulling double duty, one last match at NXT. Just saying.
I could too, but I don't see her winning the championship.
Oh, I agree. She's
depending on how rocked Cora Jade got this past week in her match against Jordan Grace. I could see her taking one of those belts off of Stephanie's hand because it's been well documented by us. She was supposed to get the push Roxanne had last year.
Right, yep. And I still think she's in Roxanne's shout. She's just Roxanne's friend, I guess. So, I mean.
So what better way to get out of the shadow, especially as Roxanne is moving up to the main roster, than to finally fulfill her destiny?
Well, that also comes with the fact that she survived, or can Elena Black be brought back to life and prove that she can be even more violent than Russian Dynamite? Because let's not forget, if she is not injured, I hope not, to the extent that you're talking about, she is facing Macha Slammers for the TNA Knockouts World Championship next week, Friday at Sacrifice. Remember, we got Sacrifice also next week, Friday. But we'll talk more a little bit about TNA later, but just want to put that in there. But, man, yeah, there's a lot going on in the black and chrome where NXT has not looked this bright to me since the black and gold. And I'm glad to see it in that prominent light again as a wrestling fan, in my opinion. King, anything you want to say regarding NXT? What you've seen, what you've heard, the women's division, and Roadblock coming up next week.
The only thing I gotta say is I'm concerned for the Julia and Stephanie Valkyrie match because of the injury. That's the only concern I got. I mean, it's going to be a good match regardless, but yeah, that's my only concern is how severe is this injury that is being rumored and reported that Julia is working through. So that's the only thing I got to say on that.
I do have one more thing to add, and that's pay attention these next couple weeks to Trick Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Trick Williams seems like he is venturing to the dark side of the Force.
I've been noticing that.
Really?
Because he beat the piss out of a dude last night.
Oh.
I forget their names, but they're the two guys, Noah, that have kind of been seen lately with Andre Chase, trying to get him to bring back Chase U.
Oh.
They encountered Trick backstage, put the blame for Chase U being put on the line in the first place on him. Trick threw one of them into the garage roll-up doors. Ava made a match, and Trick beat dude in like less than a minute.
Damn!
Now, while on the one hand, it's a former two-time NXT champion versus essentially a jobber, it's a darker side of Trick. Trick's not usually that violent, that aggressive.
Okay.
So it's very much a Anakin Skywalker situation here. And I know you're not a Star Wars guy, but
I recognize the reference though, because I've been dragged to a Star Wars movie one time up, and I was like, that's the longest 10th fantasy in my life. It was Solo, I think. I forget what my friend dragged me to.
Solo was a garbage one. You saw a horrible movie, but
I feel better about myself.
Trick right now very much reminds me of Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, where he still has that glimmer in his eye and he wants to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Anakin's having nightmares about his wife dying, and he wants to do anything he can to save her, which is why he turned to the dark side, because you can't learn that power from a Jedi. Trick's got that little something about him where he's willing to do whatever it takes. And if that means murdering somebody, Trick's looking like he's about to murder somebody because he wants Eddie Thorpe.
Jesus.
And he's pretty much treating anybody he encounters like they're Eddie Thorpe.
Okay, so he's seeing red. Got it. So eventually Eddie Thorpe and Trick Williams, they might stand deliver under extreme circumstances if Trick Williams doesn't get what he wants. Okay, well, a lot of shit going down in NXT, a lot of good shit, but fair enough.
Good shit, pal.
Yeah, good shit. That's real good shit. Darn it. Anyway, all right, JJ. Well, thank you for that NXT wrap. And again, folks, we will be covering Monday Night Raw from the Garden and NXT from the Gardens Theater next week, both Monday and Tuesday night. So please stay tuned for more on that. All right.
And then we'll be covering Sacrifice on Friday. So 3 watch-alongs next week.
Well, funny you mentioned that. Let's go ahead and talk about what's been going on with TNA since the Colognes have come into TNA, and so has Elijah. All 3 men apparently have signed TNA Wrestling.
A-Train didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Hi, A-Train. Hi, A-Train.
Primo and Epico.
Yeah, they're now part of TNA.
For the love of them.
Okay. What you really missed, though, bruv? During the debut, the crowd was chanting, "Where's Carlito?"
That's a funny chant. I ain't gonna lie.
Would it be wrong to say that?
Hey,
I mean,
but now that there's the partnership, who's to say we can't get all 3 colognes?
Hey, I think that'd be pretty cool. That being said, I just had to put that out there. To your point,
what wouldn't be cool, and I mentioned this on the space, not to derail too much, we were talking earlier about Carmella's release and how they could have sent her over to TNA, paired her with Ash and Heather by Elegance.
That just sent a shiver up my spine.
But tell me it wouldn't have worked.
It probably would have. And again, I hate when you're right. Why do you want so much?
She was a tradition at one point with that little whatever she was doing with the little, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and again, I wish no ill towards anybody. So that being said, all right, well, let's shift gears into TNA, shall we? The other half of the NXT relationship. Yes, the Colognes, they are now part of TNA, and they interrupted Joe Hendry's concert.
Okay.
And also, he's still a non-believer. He's still a non-believer.
He's still a non-believer.
He's still a non-believer. That's right. He's still a non-believer.
Did you at least pop a little bit when he came out in the Royal Rumble?
No.
Did you pop when Roman Reigns eliminated him?
Yes.
So you popped for Joe Hendry. Cool.
Okay, Dang it.
Yes, Jade, I got him. Brilliant. I love this man. But yes, and Joe Hendry's concert was interrupted, but he has a tag partner in Elijah, the former Elias from WWE. And the two...
Okay. Number one, don't take drinks while Noah's talking about shit you have no idea about. Number two, it looks like you need to watch more TNA, bruv.
Bro, you're not watching Thursday nights.
No, it's not that, bruvs. It's the fact that it was few months back that Elijah was with the Righteous in a vignette that was aired or that was all over social media. Yeah, and I was thinking right off the bat that the Righteous and Elijah, he fits. And now all of a sudden I'm hearing from y'all that he's with where?
TNA. With Joe Hendry.
What was the point of the whole Righteous vignette?
You said something a lot. Allow me to rebuttal. Nothing.
Lord have mercy.
And speaking of TNA, of course, talking about other fans, we talk about Cora Jade crossing the line, hell bent on getting Macho Slam as TNA Knockouts for a championship. Tessa Blanchard wants her own way, her own road towards the TNA World Championship. At one point, Santino Marella forcing her hand, proving that he is the director of authority. You wrestle, you're fired. Well, she did wrestle somebody and beat them quite predominantly. And Masha, of course, got assaulted again from behind by Cora Jade. The only way that Cora Jade's gotten the better of her. And since Layling Lee got blinded by Rosemary's Mist, there's been a bit of tension as of late with Tessa Blanchard and Layling Lee. We also, of course, seen Jeff Hardy pin the X Division Championship twice, whereas the director of authority has made a match now official under extreme circumstances. We've also seen Sami Callihan and Vance Warner with Steph DeLander continually barrage each other. Now Sammy and Vance are going to destroy each other. And speaking of NXT, of course, Wes Lee crossed the line with two pit bulls in his corner, his Rascals, as they'll take on the Rascals and Ace Austin. Here's a bit of a subversion of your card photos. I got to fix the graphics here. So, yeah. Oh, and that 10-man got decided because the other two men joining Joe Hendry and Elijah and Matt Hardy, Nick Nemeth and Leon Slater, they're going to be taking on the System and the Colognes in a 10-man tag. And we got a ladder match for the X Division Championship. Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana go one-on-one. Tessa Blanchard, Layling Lee, Sami Callihan and Vance Warner in a street fight. What the heck's going on here? All these damn gum fights with cages and streets and extreme circumstances all in the same week from the friggin' three biggest companies after the Revolution period. What's going on here? It's the week of extreme, I guess. I don't know. And then
what do you expect from a show called Sacrifice?
Accurate.
What are people willing to sacrifice to come up victorious?
Sweat, tears, morality. Did someone else think of another word? Give me something. Something! Had to say it because we finally got to TNA. And also, like I said, this should be the main event, and hopefully she actually is still clear enough and extreme enough to hang with Macho Slam. It's at the TNA Knockouts World Champion line. This will be the biggest shock since John Cena's heel turn. If Cora Jade actually beats Masha. No freaking way. But I'm holding out to see Cora Jade finally show me why at first you were chosen instead of Roxanne. And can you still reach that same potential that NXT saw in you? This match will prove or deny it. Masha Smash. I can't wait for this. And that's Sacrifice right now in a nutshell. Believe it or not, only 7 matches. And that, again, is a TNA Plus special this coming Friday. And we'll be covering it, folks. Stay tuned, of course. That's Friday, March 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, I'm looking very forward to it. The go home, of course, we'll hear from Macha Slamovic, Obafemi, and Moose go face to face one more time. I wonder if this will affect Moose at all when it comes to defending his X Division champion against Jeff Hardy in a ladder match prior to facing the Ruler. Just saying. Just saying. So again, we'll see what happens soon enough. But again, stay tuned for TNA, where truly anything's possible. And also, Nick Nemeth will say, "My big brother." I guess he'll be back on TNA after Sacrifice, because I don't think Sacrifice is the day up. But okay, it works. But yeah. His voice is worse than the secretary from Monsters Incorporated. I said what I said. Oh, boys. Ryan Nemeth couldn't cast a freaking stunt double for me, so I had to play myself. Anyway. You're sorry, Dwayne, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. He hates that voice and he hates that character.
He just broke A-Train.
You all right?
I'm trying to keep it together, but this is now the second time you broke out of me with this laughter and all this craziness.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I think with that being said, while we move into the final company, but before that, ROH been giving us Lucha Libre. We know that Catalina will challenge Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. But yeah, let's go ahead and segue into AEW. JJ, I did break King because one point tonight, you probably saw it. It was a battle of the fruits because we had the Bad Apple versus Preston Squeeze Orange Cassidy in that 8-man tag, and I legitimately broke him when I said that. But
damn it.
Also, hey, sometimes I got to freaking hit a home run, right? You all set it up. Sometimes I just do it myself with the freaking automator. Anyway, okay. So yeah, like we've been talking about, these collisions, these dynamites so far this year, they really have been on point. And I think the venues have also helped with that aesthetic, capturing that feeling once again of how AEW is something different but fun for wrestling fans. We've seen recently in Collision how STP have been invading the TNT Championship picture and going after the Undisputed Kingdom and Daniel Garcia. We've also seen the rise of Harley Cameron as everyone's felt her wrath, including the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. She now has a name for her finisher. It's called her finishing move. Yes, it's literally called her finishing move. Yeah, let that wrap around your head, JJ. Okay. We've seen Queen Aminata and Julia Hart have a great two bouts so far. It's 1-on-1. Looking forward to the rubber, but it seems like Deeb might finally be influencing Aminata, just saying. And of course, we also, been endorsed by Queen of the Ring. And please, if you are a fan of women's wrestling, you respect the Burke and the legacy of the NWA Women's World Championship and the career of Mildred Burke, go please watch that movie when you can and watch it.
And who's in that movie there, Keen A-Train?
Timeless.
Damn it. Tony Storm, amongst others. And also, it was endorsed tonight by the women's tag, where the Queen of the Ring right now, it's fucking Megan Bang. That girl is jacked, stat, and powerful. And I need her and Stat to run it back, as, of course, she was able to make Thunder Rosa kneel down before her and get the win for her team tonight on Dynamite, as you are, of course, watching. And, yeah, we're here finally at Revolution, where Jon Moxley, he's alone going into this. And someone's going to finally pull the trigger on something this Sunday. Just saying, someone's got to give this AEW World Championship for it to come to light. But overall, these last few Dynamite's Collision, they have been a great way to build into this pay-per-view. And as you get to, I'm sure, the women's sit-down segment here, shortly, if not already.
Oh, the show has ended for me now, so I'm all caught up on Dynamite.
Perfect. I am extremely looking forward to Revolution. So before we get there, let's go ahead and talk Sunday about what's been going on lately in AEW land. Not necessarily what's going on this Sunday, but also other things. Again, Queen Aminata, Megan Bain, Max Caster is a fucking idiot.
He got to walk with the Switchblade.
Yeah, he did. We got a Blade Runner. Hangman Adam Page was nearly burnt to death. That was something. I didn't think arson was legal in California, considering how many fires you got out there. All right? Jesus.
I think that's why they're marketing an LA Strong t-shirt with 20% of the proceeds going to the LA Fire Department for Revolution, but I'm just saying.
And cross-branding the marketing, Okay, I suppose that's freaking fair. Billy Starks gave Mercedes Monet a touch up on her face with a hot cup of tea, which was very pleasant for me to see. I like Billy Starks on AEW. This is so fun, very fun for me. And again, FTR right now, I think they're in a cross of their career because they lost the Undisputed Kingdom this past Saturday on Collision. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, and they didn't shake the man's hand. So I'm kind of wondering where FTR stands right now in the AEW ecosystem. And the Hounds of Hell, they're all doing their own things, but Brody King got knocked down by Okada. Beach. And we'll see what happens this Sunday. And overall, I've just been very intrigued with several things going on with AEW. And again, this women's division, the potential behind it needs to be cultivated. Damn it. Just saying. But we've also had a lot of leaves recently. Of course, we saw Ricky Saints arrive, now fully signed to NXT. Great debut so far. There you go, gentlemen. We've also, of course, know Malachi Black. He's involved in CCW down in Florida. I believe Ray Phoenix and Miro are also gone. And potentially, I think you talked about Legit Letter Hirsch might be one to be leaving here pretty soon. So
She already left.
Damn. Well, she should have got the towel from Red Velvet. I wish her the best. Get her TNA. So, again, changes in the ecosystem of AEW to try and restore the feel and maybe recreate a dynasty proper with actual people behind it that are actually marketable and deserving. Just saying. That's what I'm holding out for. But again, we got to get for Revolution. But before we talk Revolution, JJ, you've even said lately, AEW Television on Wednesday and Saturday nights, they've really been bringing the shows together. So what have you had to say so far regarding the AEW product? What's pulled your interest outside what we got this Sunday? And what are your thoughts on the people that have recently left?
As far as the people that have recently left, I'm glad they're gone. I don't say that in a bad way, but if they didn't want to be there, I'm glad they're able to go to wherever it is that they want to be. Mm-hmm. That's the way it should be. Tony shouldn't be holding people hostage in Guantanamo Bay. You know, it's good to see them able to move on to wherever they want to go.
I agree.
You know, to take the old WWE pun, I wish them best in their future endeavors.
I agree.
As far as everything else goes, like, I've been enjoying AEW television for the better part of the last month and a half. You know, they've really started to turn things around. There's still quite a bit that I don't like.
Fair.
But there's becoming a lot more on the program that I am enjoying on a consistent basis.
Hey.
You know, something that was talked about heavily today on the Spaces and the beginning of the Evolve show is what is the effect of Evolve going to have on Dynamite now that they're going toe to toe? You know, granted, Evolve is only an hour, and I don't know if we're going to find out ratings like we do from Netflix for Raw. But I'm curious to see what happens to AEW's numbers. Not that that's, you know, we always say that the ratings are what they are, but I've been noticing lately AEW's been about the 550,000 mark. So if the ratings come out and it drops down to like 450,000, that means 100,000 of AEW's viewers were watching Evolve.
Or doing something else.
Theoretically speaking, but if it's a consistent thing, you can figure they've left for Evolve.
Yeah, I can see the point there.
And you got to figure that the networks, if the ratings get any lower than what they aren't going to want to sign them again. So I'm hoping that it doesn't affect them too much long run, but I do have my concerns. And especially now that AEW is starting to put out a steadily better product from what they were when I first started getting into AEW. You know, I mean, nothing is going to top what it was when I started watching when Punk was first there.
Right. That's fair.
But
when you came in.
But when you think about how things started to fall off rapidly after Punk left and where they're starting to get to now, it's definitely about equal, if not a little bit better. And so I just keep hoping I see that upswing here. I'm a little bit concerned with some of the stuff they've got going on the pay-per-view. The majority of the matches look solid, but I mean, why does Big Boom AJ have a match and FTR is not on the card?
Even 0 hours aside, I don't know. Why you think I'm just gonna be like, oh, here's the 0 hour. Besides,
I mean,
I don't cover that.
Look at that graphic for a moment, okay? Like, this is the biggest collection of what the fuck I think I've ever seen for an AEW. Okay, for starters, you've got Orange Cassidy on the 0 hour. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Damn.
Mark Briscoe has to team with this dude that would rather get a Choco Chunk cookie and a chicken bake. And then you go over to the other side.
Oh
and you've got fucking Johnny Nitro, I mean Johnny Mundo, I mean Johnny TV, I mean John.
Keep going. You got 3 more names.
You've got the maximum male models, the MXM collection. Like, holy hell. This is a huge what the actual fuck.
For free. It's for free.
Like legit, the 10-man at Sacrifice makes more sense than this bullshit. And even that's a hodgepodge of what the fuck.
Oh my god. You broke King, by the way.
But stop me when I'm telling lies.
King?
But you're looking at this graphic. You look at that graphic. Where are the ops? Where's FTR?
Oh my gosh. I guess,
where's the patriarchy?
I mean,
where are any of these other things that have been somewhat steadily featured on my AEW television?
Damn it.
And you're giving me this bullshit? And this is the 0 hour. This is supposed to make me want to buy the pay-per-view?
Or buy a membership to Costco. I don't know. This match is brought to you by Costco, Ray-Bans, and your fanciest cologne.
Don't get me wrong. The chicken bakes are fucking fire, but dude, like, what the hell is this shit?
I wouldn't know because
for real. You don't? Do you have a Costco near you?
We have one Costco here in Toledo, and it's on the other side of the city, and I have no way of going to it, nor have I shopped at it. So, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because a chicken bake, dude, it's about like this long. It's about $2.50, bread stuffed with like chicken filling, like you'd find in a chicken pot pie, stuffed inside of like a toasted bread.
So it's like a handheld chicken pot pie, not necessarily chicken cordon bleu that has like cheese and ham inside it.
But it's good as hell. Like, don't get me wrong, the chicken bake is actually pretty fire, but what the hell are we doing here? And then the Rizzler is going to be ringside too, so I got to deal with
Hey, leave the Rizzler alone.
I have to deal with this shit for 20 minutes, and this man makes fun of Jeff Jarrett.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Hold on. I've grown since then. Double J is on my good side. But Jesus.
I would actually rather sit through a fucking Mercedes Moné shit than this.
Oh, you mean this?
Well, this notwithstanding, because no offense, I don't know shit about Momo Watanabe. Like, who the fuck is she? Why do I care?
Okay, I'll educate you on Momo Watanabe.
I mean, no offense. Like, I get she's big in Japan. She won the 4-way at Dynasty, whatever. Anyone can challenge for a title. So out of all the titles you could have challenged for, Ring of Honor, CMLL, you go after the one bitch who's not going to lose. As opposed to going after somebody you might actually have a shot with.
Well,
okay. Well,
before I give it to Keith.
I am willingly putting myself through a Mercedes match. We're going to do a House of Glory watch along. Where I believe she is challenging Megan Bayne for the House of Glory Women's Championship.
Oh. Well,
yeah,
then.
that's what that image was that I sent to the group chat, Noah. House of Glory, March 15th. Danhausen's going to be on the show. Private Party's going to be on the show. Zilla Fatu's going to be on the show.
Ooh, Zilla.
But I believe the rumored match is Megan Bayne defending her title against Mercedes. So we're about to have Mercedes 5 belts.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, Megan Bayne is still the House of Glory women's champion, to your point. So, I mean, okay. Well, I know Jane's blood pressure just went up a whole double today, and my blood pressure is normal, at least right now. But first off, JJ, roast of the year. That was beyond brilliant. And secondly, I now have an eye exam for you fine folks that are watching. And also King. Number 1. Number 2. Number 1. And number 2. Which one do you see more clearly? The eyes have it. Oh my gosh!
And again, I'm the guy with the marketing, so I get bringing this dude with TikTok followers and reach is going to bring eyes to the product. But why do we keep putting him in matches on the pay-per-view card?
Was he involved at World's End, or was it only at Full Gear he had last
It was only at Full Gear.
Okay, so at least it wasn't back to back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that being said, woof. All right. Well, damn. Well, at least you've been enjoying the AEW TV content, and now I know what to go after at Costco. I've ever shopped there. The only time I'm exposed to Costco, by the way, my job, they get Costco cakes for people leaving or retirements, and those things are fucking delicious, man. I'll tell you what.
Costco's food court is a good broke man's meal because, like I said, you can get one of those chicken bakes, and I don't know if prices have gone up, but you can get one of those chicken bakes for like $2.50, $3. They also have a foot-long hot dog and a soda for like $1.50. So for less than $5, you can get a foot-long hot dog, a chicken bake, and a drink.
You can't even do that at friggin' Subway.
Right.
Like I said, it's a good poor man's meal, and it's decent quality.
Yeah, about to say, there's the kicker, decent quality. I mean, McDonald's, you can get the same at McDonald's for $5 essentially, or you can go to Wendy's and get a frozen fish patty on a bun. It's like,
hey, don't knock Wendy's, man. Those biggie bags are fucking insane.
No.
Get a burger. You substitute the fries for a baked potato. Baked potatoes are fucking filling as hell. You get a 4-piece nuggets and a drink for $5.
Hey. First off, between McDonald's and Wendy's, I'm a Wendy's guy. I'm the nerd that eats triple baconators with a chocolate frosty and a large fry. I haven't done that in years, but I'm also a Five Guys guy, and that's a whole different conversation. And before we turn this to a food cup podcast, how dare you? I'm also a Rowley's Checkers guy, and that's our go-to. You give me a chicken fry box, or I'm just gonna say this right now. Impromptu topic: restaurant with the best fry. No, we're not doing that.
My only issue with Five Guys, if I'm being real, is I have an ex, and she tried to get me to go to Five Guys by tempting me with the fact that you can get any topping you want for free. Okay, great. So I walked in there. And I'm like, let me get a chili cheeseburger. Oh, we don't have chili. All right, let me get some guacamole on my burger. Guacamole bacon burger. We don't do guacamole. So every topping that I wanted on my burger, they didn't have. But I thought I could get any topping I wanted for free.
Any in context, the small print below, toppings may not be included in the collection.
Keem had to go off camera. He's so broken. He's broken like Matt Hardy.
Oh dear, or Tara. Shout out to Tara. Congratulations to Ventura being now part of the W Legends. And
breathe, Keen, breathe.
Breathe. Are you all right, bro?
Since when did we turn this to the Guy Fieri, Gordon Ramsay show?
Fighters, Dives, and Dives coming to you soon. Courtesy of the Simple Alpha Studios and ATW. Stay tuned. Okay. Channel change.
Whoever goes with Walter to Mania next year in New Orleans has to do that shit. Have that person and Walter go to all the different eateries in New Orleans and just do like a video vlog of all the New Orleans food.
all the New Orleans, all the jambalaya, all the gumbo, all
The
the shrimp.
beignets.
Beignets. Oh, beignets sounds so damn good. Okay. 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 Okay.
And if Mania is around the time of Mardi Gras, I'm just saying the
Yeah, she's got
temptations for
everything.
Noah, the temptations.
Look, I'm a skinny, simple man, but I do like food, believe it or not, folks. I actually do eat. I don't have a hollow leg, and even though I'm 100, I got my physical today. I'm officially 134 pounds, 6 feet tall. I'm fine. Okay, and I actually had an Angus burger with cheese today. Courtesy of my mom. God bless my mom's cooking. Okay, King, your thoughts as of late on the AEW TV product between Collision and Dynamite. Some of your moments, the women's division evolving. Go ahead and talk wrestling, not food. Oh, what a segue! Wow.
That was one of them segues, folks, to where this is why this ATW View Impromptu will always be unscripted, and I love it.
Right.
Dynamite and Collision. I guess the reports are true because TK's been in the weeds creatively, and as of what we've seen on Dynamite and as what we've seen on Collision, it has been nonstop of good shows. Like you can make a separation if you want to of what's the better show. It'll still be both good shows, regardless. Like beside the fact.
Both got good elements. That's the thing. One does some elements better than the other. I think Collision does women's wrestling better than the other, but that's just a simple opinion. Continue.
And I'm glad I want to segue into that because I'm glad that Queen Eminata and Julia Hart happened, and I'm glad that Queen Eminata got her win to at least get her ready for her Pure Rules match with Serena Deeb for the first ever women's Pure Rules match on Ring of Honor television soon to come. And I'm glad to see Queen Eminata getting the time, to still continue to still be that, workhorse that she was last year. And I hope this time around I'm glad she's getting more consistent time. And of course, I can't wait for their third match because they're like the best of their two matches have been nothing but great. And I get pushing Harley. I do. I like Harley. I even told you during the watch along, Harley's a gem. But
Continue.
But why did Harley have to beat Deonna Purrazzo? That is my only freaking issue because of the fact that Deonna has been up and down with the booking, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm just like, you're giving the Vendetta, you're giving her and Taya Valkyrie, and yet they both said that there's another one waiting in the wings, but how are you supposed to build up the Vendetta if you're having Deonna lose to Harley? Like, I get it. Like, she just come off of Australia. She just come off a great match with Mercedes. And I get you still want to push her. But this is freaking Deonna Purrazzo we're talking about here.
Yeah.
If you want the Vendetta to be strongly booked in your women's division, you got to have them stop taking losses to Harley. And I had to put Harley in there because, she's just come off a loss of a title match. That's the difference between losing a regular match and losing a title match. Mm-hmm. She lost a title match. She didn't need a win in a regular match. That's the only issue upon that. But other than that, yes, I am a fan of the Outrunners, folks. I am now a Outrunners fan.
See, he still hates Joe Hendry and JJ, but he actually likes the Outrunners now. Freaking blasphemy.
That ain't blasphemous. That's just facts.
Noah, at least we got him to turn on one.
Fair enough.
Time.
Thank you, JJ. Thank you.
All right, fine.
Come the end of 2025, he will believe in Joe Hendry.
You're damn right. You better believe in Joe Hendry.
Dave.
He said his name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Hey. You said he said the name. I had to do the thing. He said the freaking
To be
name.
fair, we said his name a few times, so you could have done it any time.
But it's kind of like the something thing. You find the moment. I don't overkill gimmicks unlike wrestling industry at the past. But yeah, and I will say this. To beat the virtuoso, Deonna Purrazzo is one thing. To submit her is career defining. It's the biggest reason why Trinity did something absolutely relevant in her career, okay? Just saying. But that being said, yeah, I'm curious what the Vendetta is going to become. As she said, she's going home for now. But of course, she was just there at the Queen of the Ring premiere. Again, folks, go see that if you're a wrestling fan. I highly encourage it. But it was also one of those things where I'm like, okay, what is the other member? Is it Anna Jay, who's been MIA since the Stardom thing? And of course, she's had that tension as well with Taya and Deanna. I'm curious, honestly, who it can be. But Deanna Purrazzo is a unique gem in her own right when it comes to her style. She's there with the likes of Shayna Baszler, Serena Deeb, Natalya. And Natalya, of course, will be involved in the NWA Crockett Cup coming up here very soon, which I love seeing that. And also Bloodsport. If you do not book fucking Natalya versus freaking Mio Yamashita or Masha Slamovich, missed opportunity considering Masha's trained with Natalya on the freaking 200. Just saying. Anyway, yes, JJ, I see your hand. What's up, bro?
Really quickly, I wanted Natalya versus Masha too, but let's not forget that's the same day as Unbreakable.
Oh.
Unbreakable starts at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Bloodsport starts at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. So unless Masha jerks the curtain at Unbreakable and semi-main or mains Bloodsport, it ain't happening, bruv.
That's fair enough.
Both shows are going to be in Vegas.
Yeah.
But unless they do something like that, it ain't happening.
Look, Masha Slamovich and Speedo Mike Bailey still try and outwork each other when it comes to the most bookings and the most matches. All right. And if it's in the same damn city, you know those freaking crazy wrestling freaks are going to be all over that strip. And anywhere there's going to be a wrestling ring. So I'm not going to say don't rule it out, but because they're back to back, this case you might be right. Also, damn it, you're right.
Basically concurrently, not even back to back. If it was back to back, then it was possible.
Yeah, even get the ice in the wounds and stuff like that. Because again, Speedball, yeah, the concurrent.
You
yeah,
know,
right.
if Unbreakable was taking the place of that night's Impact, it could happen.
Yeah, I don't see.
But we get Impact, and then we get Unbreakable on top of it.
Fair enough. Yeah, you got me there. So, all right. Well, either way, we're still gonna watch wrestling till we virtually die.
And to Keen's point, as far as Deanna Purrazzo, it pisses me off every time I see her on my television screen, because as soon as the CEO walked into the company, Deanna got pushed to the side.
No lies detected. Damn it. Again, the Virtuosa, graduate of Southern New Hampshire University, and still hitting the books for a bigger degree. If you're trying to find education, folks, in real today, the Virtuosa did it. So, again, it's just one of those things where I'm like, hey, if she's not hitting the ring, she's hitting the books. Long may she fucking reign, because she is a unique gem, a unique style that should be more presented. I'm going to leave it at that because we're not going to chastise. All right. Well, we've had a lot of crazy fun. We talked food. We're probably hungry, too. I have Oreos in case I need to snack during one of the matches in case you all get too far off the rails. So let's go ahead and get right into our main event. Let's go ahead and talk about AEW Revolution. It's the first pay-per-view this year in the AEW cycle, and we got quite a unique card. And JJ, believe it or not, the main card is not double digits. I think he is finally learning. We legitimately have 9 matches on the main and 1 for the 0 hour. Of course, the 0 hour, you and James and I forget whoever else is going to call that. So have fun with that. Again,
it won't be me. I got to work on Sunday. So
okay, then it'll be James and Walter. So again, stay tuned, folks. Here at Summit Studios, we'll be covering it, and also stay tuned with City Predicting. It will also be tomorrow night. Dwayne, JJ, me, maybe the Dominguez sisters is. I think that's about it, unless Jeff's
I believe Jeff is supposed to be coming.
Good deal. That makes sense because Jeff will actually be going. So Jeff means him have a great time and enjoy this. And if you do not watch this episode back and hear JJ's roast, I expect you to come in blindly tomorrow and roast this match yourself, because I want to hear if Jeff has the same thoughts or the same crazy aspiration for that as you. Again, number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2,
number 9.
Number 9. What's your number? Anyway, sorry. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about AEW Revolution. So yes, folks, believe it or not, you can purchase this pay-per-view on Triller, on Max, and now Amazon Prime even has it as they're expanding. You can get this. So again, support AEW, support wrestling, and check out this show because there's a lot of good stuff to it. And you also got this. There's a lot of good stuff to it. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First up, Watanabe faced this person. Unfortunately, we don't know what the result's going to be unless the bat comes into play and Billy Starks is in her corner or Mini Monet shows up and helps. But anyway, Mini Monet for life. Anyway.
I'm sorry. Minnie Monet should have pinned her at Grand Slam and gotten the championship around her waist.
JJ, you're on fire tonight, but I think you're going to break King before we get to the freaking Hollywood.
It would have been like when Al Snow had Pierre win the hardcore title.
One ahead. I mean, there's a title in Dragon Gate that's really been won by a book, a ladder, a blow-up doll, a Tamagotchi. So, I mean, he's not too far off. This is the world of wrestling, folks. And if you know, you know. Just saying, Hiromu Takahashi held it and regretted it. Anyway, Monet versus Momo Watanabe for TBS Championship. And, of course, TBS Championship will be on the line. Title that Monet has held since beating Will Nightingale last year at Double or Nothing. Momo Watanabe is part of Stardom, the all Joshi promotion in Japan. Part of the faction called Hate. She won the International Women's Cup Fatal 4-Way at Wrestle Dynasty to cash in on any championship opportunity she wants, and she picked this. This is a rematch from Capital Collision last year, where Monet already beat Watanabe last year in August. The only extra criteria I can see here is Billy Starks is hoping for a new TBS champion, as everyone's hoping for the Monet train to be derailed. But unless Billy Starks has that bat in hand and swings it at Monet's head, I don't see a title change happening. But at the end of the day, we still all love Mini Monet. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, does anyone have anything to say regarding that match?
Nope.
Good deal. Moving on.
I will say this. My distaste for Mercedes notwithstanding, she tends to put on good matches, especially at the pay-per-view. So it should be a solid match.
I agree.
That's about as nice of a thing as you're going to get me to say about Mercedes. Let's move on.
There you go.
Good man. I'm about to say, very, very good man, by the way. And again,
heaven forbid I'm on the commentary for House of Glory if it is her versus Megan Bain. We may get thrown off YouTube.
JJ, Walter's trying to build his channel for his sake. Maybe you try and put in a censor button for yourself. Unless they're super chatted or, properly. You got to be like the ring and endorsement. All right. Well, that was easy. Let's go ahead and move on now to some matches that actually matter. And again, Jeff Meacham will be there. So I'm sure he's going to have a lot of great fun. And hey, I'm surprised JJ didn't use this word. Maybe he thinks that she's above or below it. Beach. We got Kazuchika Okada defending the AEW Continental Championship against Brody King. JJ, legitimately, this got brought up because last week, Saturday, Okada interrupted the cold open of Julia Hart, and it was like, so sorry. I'm so sorry. Brody King was not amused. He barked in his face. He shoulder bumped him. Okada just looked at his belt in his multi-$1,000 suit, and after Julia Hart gave a fiber live against Queen Aminata, he took out Brody King from behind that was looking to check on Julia Hart, flipped him off, and suddenly said, beach. They were involved in tag team match, of course, tonight on Dynamite. Neither man were involved in the decision, and now we have this one-on-one. Kazuchika Okada is approaching 1 year holding the Continental Championship. If he makes it to March 20th, he will officially have held it for 365 days, the day that he beat Eddie Kingston for this title in Canada on Dynamite. And Brody King, again, this dog looking to bark, the Hounds of Hell, as they're called. Brody King, of course, who's trying to lead by example now, out of the shadows and in the light. This should be a great one-on-one match. But, again, Okada, he's one of those guys that just truly is on another level. Again, James has said himself, the best worker since Ric Flair. And with this dirty demeanor, he literally might be right. I don't see Okada losing.
I don't know.
I am a little torn, though, because we're in California, and Brody King is one of y'all's boys. California, Santino Barra's Wrestling Academy. He lost out to David Finlay at Wrestle Dynasty, and he was one of the breakout stars of the first Continental Classic and has upside ever since then. I think it'll be a cool moment, but I think Okada's going to hit the year milestone before he loses the title. And he's been a hell of a fighting champion, not to mention defending Continental Classic champion now, too. So go ahead, JJ. I like the fact you got a little bit of a slighter maybe. So what are your thoughts towards this when you look at the dynamic of these two men and Okada's run for the time being?
You know, I really want Brody to win this. and take the title because I feel like he deserves something for all the hard work he's put in. That said, I've heard some grumblings that the Continental title and the International title may be getting merged.
Oh yeah, I've heard rumblings.
And let's be honest, Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada, the guy who replaced him in the Elite, title for title, is going to slap.
Am I smiling super hard because that could be the match at AEW All In, if not sooner, possibly Dynasty?
Will be there.
I will hold you for life if you'll see that match.
So I'm just saying, if there is truth to that grumbling, and then AEW essentially would have their own intercontinental title,
Ding.
Which I don't know if they would name it that out of fear of comparison to WWE. But if that grumbling is true, Okada's going to retain because Okada Omega is money. Brody versus Omega, good, but doesn't have the same selling ability.
No, I mean
Okada Omega, and especially like I said, since Okada took Omega's place with the Elite,
long-term storytelling continue,
which is something I'm constantly complaining about with AEW. There it is, right there,
bruv. Enough said. Again, Okada Omega is one of the greatest rivalries to define professional wrestling. Damn it. But I love that. But if we're going to get there, you got to have Okada retain. Any additional thoughts?
I ain't got nothing to add. And plus, well, I do got one thing to add to that, but it's kind of like, accomplishment type of thing. And it's that Okada is not done breaking records, I feel like, because let's not forget, gentlemen, he is now the most tournament winner as far as tournaments go in wrestling, beating Chono with the most wins in a tournament, the most tournament wins. And plus, like you said, bruv, he's about to approach 1 year of becoming Continental Champion. Like, this man is about to break records. He's about to break record number 2 if he hits that milestone. But other than that, before we get there, he's got to defeat Brody King. And if what JJ is saying, which I've heard those rumblings too, and he does bring up a point, you got to have Okada retain. It's going to be a good match regardless, but you got to have Okada retain because let's not forget, when Kenny returned at World's End, we saw the backdrop. Backdrop was there. Okada was still holding the Continental Championship, which we will talk about Omega's match here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Might be onto something.
All I know is with AEW All In being stateside for the first time versus across the pond, and we don't even know where Forbidden Door is truly going to be yet, they have to make All In special, like Wrestle Dynasty was special. But this All In coming stateside, it has surpassed what Wembley Stadium has done, elevating itself each time. I wasn't sure if Wembley Stadium All In last year was going to surpass the pilot. Boy, did they. So, again, this All In, a lot's on the line for them. And Okada and Omega, that's a great fucking start.
And really quick, before we keep going with Revolution, one more thing. I've been talking about it for a minute for my dream match for All In.
What?
And by the time All In happens, this certain individual will be 18 years old. From Texas. TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné versus Izzy Moreno.
This needs to happen. It needs to happen. It needs to freaking happen.
The Bailey superfan from the Black and Gold NXT versus the former Sasha Banks in her home state of Texas.
Yes. Damn it. Yes. It needs to happen. It needs to fucking happen. Almost as much as I want Billy Starks versus Athena to happen, that she finally takes the title from her in Athena's home state. Because Athena needs to lose that damn title, but that's a whole different conversation. But
the problem is that they're talking it's going to be Athena versus Mercedes. Probably title for title.
Because of the fact that if you watch Collision, let's not forget, like, and I
Billy
put this on
Stark.
Blue Sky, insert Billy Starks here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can see what you mean. I'm worried about that, but again, Ring of Honor needs to get its shit together, and I don't know how much longer I can take of waiting. But anyway, that's a different conversation. But I'm going to say it right now because Jade put it out there. I'm going to say it right now, considering Evolve's a thing. If they do not do Izzy versus Monet in Texas at All In at AEW's biggest show, allegedly, of the year, she's going to be signed up shortly by WWID and be on Evolve before the freaking end of the summer.
There's also the possibility that May 1st, which is Izzy's birthday, TNA live from the Brin Center in Southern California, hot off the heels of the Rebellion pay-per-view.
Uh-oh.
Happy birthday to Izzy Moreno. Ink a deal with TNA, NXT crossover. Izzy Moreno returns to the PC as a TNA talent on NXT.
All I'm hearing is Izzy Moreno, the sky's the limit for your career, young lady. And shout out to my other wrestling friends. Like I said, Sienna Chanel, Mara Jade, also Becca Wrestling, friend, of course, I can connect with through the Bunny Alley, Patreon. Alley, get well soon. And also Montserrat, graduate of the Dustin Rhodes Association /Academy. Go check out the Rhodes Cup, by the way, courtesy of Rhodes Wrestling Association. Tremendous stuff. Again, wrestling has so much promise in its future at such a young state, even before 18 years old. If you look at Japan, for Pete's freaking sake, especially with Hina winning the Future Stardom Championship at 18 and being accepted to university at the same time. Congratulations to her. So again, wrestling is in such a beautiful state right now. Yeah, I love it. I freaking love it. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on down through this card. And again, you did say he's a fan of the Outriders earlier, so let's freaking go! Let's freaking go!
Woo! Yeah!
Okay. But they are going to get hurt.
I have to say their theme song, being able to hear it now and not over the TV with crowd noise, gives me Holding Out for a Hero vibes. I'm just saying, it gives me Holding Out for a Hero vibes. I'm just waiting for the vocals to come in.
Well, considering they're synthwave and vaporwave fans, there's no vocals in their music. And by the way, that's their old theme. They got another one just created for them. Yeah. So this is their third theme since they first arrived and broke Jeff Meacham when the names I told them during the Ring of Honor 0 hour. But nonetheless, Jeff gets to witness the Outrunners live as they challenge for the AEW World Tag Team Championship against the Hurt Syndicate. JJ, the Outrunners earned this opportunity, as we know, beating the Murder Machines, Lance Archer and Brian Cage, after the Hurt Syndicate came out for a little bit of a spectacle. And to everyone's surprise, everyone's happiness, Total Recall was hit, and the Outrunners now have a chance to fulfill a 22-year dream on the grandest stage. But they're facing Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, who, as we know, they hurt people. So I don't want to write them off because I want the Outrunners to have a chance. But Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, business, I think it's going to remain strong here. Okay, why don't you start off since you became an Outrunners fan? What you got to say regarding this match?
Let's face it, the reason why the Outrunners are having this momentum is because of the fact that everybody loves them, including myself. I've grown to like them, and this is why they are the spot they are in now. And I felt like I understand everybody's concern of why is the Murder Machines not in the spot and is the Outrunners instead. I feel like the Murder Machines and the Hurt Syndicate feud will like long past this as we get towards the next pay-per-view, which will be Dynasty. That's why I feel like that's when the tag team championship of the Murder Machines and the Hurt Syndicate will be made there. But as far as right now, the Outrunners got this spot because they have now, earned that spot of becoming a number one contendership because of how they move with the fan base, of how they gravitate towards them and everything. I mean, the mind games help with the Hurt Syndicate coming down. and costed the Murder Machines a spot for the AEW World Tag Team Championships here at Revolution, and that got the Outrunners to win. But let's face it, though, it's Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and that chant is over. It was even over in Toronto when the Hurt Syndicate was in Toronto over Elimination Chamber weekend. They're over everywhere. I don't see it anytime soon right now, nor in the next few months. The Hurt Syndicate retains the AEW World Tag Team Championships.
Well, again, JJ, you follow the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd, Truth Magnum, and their 80s Magnum PI, Hulk Hogan mustache, balding hair styles since they came into AEW. And again, they're definitely one of the more colorful tag teams on the scenes that have become the crowd's favorites since coming out of ROH, the youngest man of the century, as we know. And yeah, I'm afraid this is very fun, but again, Bobby Lashley, first time ever in his career, he's a tag team champion. Son of Benjamin, standard of excellence in his own right. The gold standard, both these men practically 50, by the way. And MVP, the best dressed faction in all professional wrestling, damn it, with all the boxes checked off for what a wrestling faction and a professional wrestler should be. And legitimate, like King said, Hurt Syndicate, it's all about money, and they are money. But what do you guys say regarding this Tad Thomas? Do you think that Murder Machines is a direction towards Dynasty, or maybe a roadblock towards something bigger like FTR or Undisputed Kingdom per se? Because there are a lot of young, promising tag teams on the scenes and also some experience. But so what's your takeaways for this?
Well, I will go more in depth into this tomorrow, but I feel like the Outrunners are going to die. I think the reason that they're not doing the Murder Machines yet is because they are probably the most realistic threat to the Hurt Business.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to pull the trigger too early. I'm wondering if they don't wait until something bigger like All In. What was Lance Hoyt's original gimmick?
See.
Dallas.
Oh. Whoa. Yeah.
Whoa.
He's a Texas boy, too.
And Dallas.
Yep. Right.
Yep.
All In Texas.
All the Texans.
Murder Machines, AEW Tag Champs.
Even though it's heel on heel, but this dynamic actually might work in a degree if the crowd more so believes in the Murder Machines versus the Hurt Syndicate. Then again, the Hurt Syndicate being so favored, to King's point, it almost does feel like they're baby faces here. But here, they're not going to be baby faces. The Outrunners are going to be the ones that are cheered the most. So it's just freaking Outrunners. This grab, it just makes me laugh. Oh, my gosh, those guys. But yeah, look, as someone that wears suits for a living and is mostly nothing but business, I can't argue with right now the run and the presentation and the threat that Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin set as a bar for the AEW Tag Team Championships that I have not seen since probably FTR's first run, if that. It's been a long time since we've had legitimate competition in the AEW Tag Team division, particularly. So, yeah, I agree with you all about these. But, again, Outrunners, this is a chance they've been working for 22 years, and they're not going to go easily back in time after this. I'm just saying. All right. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and move on from there. Speaking of, again, people that we love, people with something to prove. MJF was trying to prove something tonight, right? But I don't think he'll be a lighter to prove your situation come Sunday when the diamond ring hit him for the first time. Does it hit twice, or does cowboy shit run through everyone's favorite scumbag? You tell me, JJ. Let's talk about MJF versus Heyman and Page. Two men that have been involved in AEW since day one, might I add, when the championship was first unveiled. And now you have this unhinged, but somewhat, once again, I would say renewed Heyman and Page after the fallout with Christopher Daniels and the bludgeoning MJF gave him, versus Maxwell Jacob Freeman, where the devil looks to get his due and prove once again what he's on another level before going back after his belt to get back his Triple B. Heyman and Page and MJF have been hell-bent on proving something against one another, while Heyman simply says, I am real, but MJF looks to prove a point exactly how real he is and how hypocritical the AEW fan base is. With MJF recently laser removing the AEW tattoo from his leg, where the only three matters that matter now are MJF. I'm very curious what that means come Sunday with him and Adam Page, where when he's at his worst, he's at his best, but he's also at his most vulnerable. Ever since Christopher Daniels said, this is the Heyman I've been waiting to see. This is what I was talking about. You wonder if that ringing endorsement woke Heyman up to finally figure out a way to get back on track. And does it start at Revolution? JJ, what do you got to say regarding this singles match where, honest to God, you might be looking at your next challenger for the AEW World Championship besides the next match we talk about?
I'm torn in this one.
Same.
I feel like, okay, first of all, I can't stand Hangman Adam Page. That's very well documented.
Absolutely.
So by that logic alone, you would think that I would go with MJF. He's our scumbag.
Heart versus mine.
But I also feel like Page, as much as I dislike him, needs something here. He's been losing big matches quite a bit. And he needs something to really kind of help restart his momentum. And especially if we're going to get Kenny with the championship here coming out of his match against the Alpha.
Potentially.
Maybe a rekindling of Hangman versus Omega over that championship as a filler could be something to really kickstart Hangman. You know what I mean? Like,
back on a normal career versus a violent one.
As of tonight, I'm going to say Hangman, but my official thoughts will be given tomorrow. So,
well, that's the thing about the impromptu. It's not so much predictions, but more so a preview. That's kind of the way I've always labeled it as. So I love this. So again, though, King, we've seen Hangman at his worst, but it seems now that he is more vulnerable in a good way. And the fans have kind of come to see that as well, especially against MJF, where at the end of the day, you can respect MJF, but you could also hate his fucking guts. It's one of the things about wrestling being so fickle. The fans don't know which way to act. And here right now, it does seem like they favor Heyman, especially after MJF tried to burn the man alive. But I also feel what JJ's talking about. If this goes Heyman's way, the two won't be done with each other. And if MJF was trying to burn the man, we know how violent AEW can get under extreme circumstances. AEW All Out last year is probably one of the most violent pay-per-views on the Western Front since ECW days that I can remember. That was one of the damnedest violent pay-per-views I ever covered with you, JJ. And it was one of my favorite shows of the year. And it involved a man getting sedated inside a steel cage before he was knocked unconscious with a steel chair over the head. They couldn't protect themselves. Who knows what the fuck these two yahoos could get to? That could involve fire, God forbid. God forbid AEW tries to create an Inferno match. Lord help me. And we're in California, nonetheless.
Don't put it in the sphere.
Hey, he doesn't watch my stuff. Anyway, Jay, what you got to say regarding this one-on-one? Considering MJF, he is coming off a loss from World's End against his machacho, Adam Cole. But at least now, that is completely said and done.
There's one person I can think of that can relate to all of this. And it was when Hangman entered a certain most dangerous man's locker room right before MJF caught him in his tracks.
We'll talk about what you'd be talking about here shortly.
Exactly. And on JJ's point, Hangman, he's just recently coming off big losses, but he also got a win over the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels, that sent Christopher Daniels into retirement. And it's like ever since then, MJF has been touching that point, showing that vulnerability, showing a little bit of more empathy, a little more sympathy for Hangman, some sort. Like he's turned the corner a bit. And then MJF's vulnerability of basically the fans. And this is now Hangman's time to, this was now Hangman's turn to bring that up. And that's always been MJF's vulnerability, was acceptance by the fans, the insecurity. And Hangman brought it back up. And that's what triggers MJF. Now, if we talking win, who needs a win here? I agree with JJ. Hangman needs a win here. Because, and how I bring this around, I will talk about that man here shortly. Again, we will talk about him shortly, because that man was wrestling like against Clark Connors, as if Clark Connors was Hangman Adam Page last week on Collision. Something tells me that that most dangerous man is still not done with him, and Hangman is not done with that most dangerous man in AEW. We will get that ran back, but under different circumstances when we talk about the number one contender match here shortly. But as far as this match goes, and you said could be looking at your next challenger for the AEW World Championship, I'm going to go with Hangman.
Again, these guys started all off AEW Double or Nothing in 2019. They were in the very first match, the Casino Battle Royal. Hangman Adam Page won. MJF was there when the title was unveiled by Bret the Hitman Hart, and Hangman Adam Page was there too. We've seen both men's careers. We've seen the launches. We've seen the falls. We've seen the injuries. We've seen the comebacks. We've seen the favoritism. We've seen the hatred. But right now, in this state, one thing remains the same. MJF's insecurity versus Hangman Adam Page's stern, zero fucks given, straight shoot forward on you on the mic. And that's what happened literally a couple of weeks ago, to the point that MJF has once again made it personal. Something's got to give when it comes to these two men's emotions, and it's going to take that moment of vulnerability to decide the match here. We know Revolution, though, has been good to MJF. He's beaten Bryan Danielson in one of the greatest Iron Man matches we've ever saw. He beat Cody Rhodes. Let's keep that in mind, folks. And now he could potentially beat a former AEW World Champion in Hangman Adam Page on his road to get back to his Triple B, even as close as Dynasty. And we also know at one point teased was Swerve and MJF, which has not happened yet. So again, there's a lot on the line, I think, where Revolution sets the groundwork for AEW's future in a way. You just said it yourself, JJ, the win of the day, if I'm being Mark Briscoe, is something, legitimately something. Because whatever happens at Revolution truly will lead to something for everybody. More so that comes out the victor than the losers. And speaking of which, it doesn't get more definitive than what you just talked about, cause and effect, which we'll talk about next, as we'll see if we get a victory in whose house?
Swerve's
Runs
house.
That too, JJ. But it's Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet 2 for the AEW World Championship number one contendership, and personal ties also in this, to the point that if Swerve loses, Prince Nana might be done altogether, as Ricochet still has that coveted role of the late, great Jimmy Rave, and is disparaging his honoring of it. All right, guys, let's freaking go. These two go all the way back before WWE, NJPW. They go back to Defy when they use their real names. And we've seen this new side of Ricochet really come forward with the greatest TPing in AEW history at World's End, when Ricochet lost to Kazuchika Okada. Beach. That being said, since then, Ricochet, though, has become his own dangerous man, with a pair of golden scissors and becoming the most obnoxious man to support the Super Bowl winners on the internet. And Swerve Strickland, he's been trying to get back to that focus of the AEW World Championship with Prince Nana's guidance, once again proving why he should be still claimed as the most dangerous man, despite the fact Ricochet beat the man one-on-one on Dynamite with a low blow. And here we are, this match brought into play because of that caveat you see down there in the middle. Number one contenders match for the AEW World Championship. King, start things off and go ahead and talk about your thoughts with this.
And this Swerve Ricochet 2, and it's basically all about the embassy and Prince Nana's legacy. And it all started when basically Prince.
What's that? Play that.
What's that? Whose house?
Runs house. I said, whose house? Runs house.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
Oh my
But now
goodness.
you know, folks, he is the learning tree, and I believe more in his lessons than Chris Jericho's. That being said, continue, King.
Anyways, Swerve,
not going there.
Swerve and Ricochet, it all started at World's End with the whole TP to enter Ricochet into the new year, and Ricochet did not take a liking into that. And then their first ever matchup since their time in Defy and in Lucha Underground, and Ricochet won with a low blow. And Swerve brought that up here tonight. You thought that low blow victory you think that's impressive to you? Like, when you have awakened the most dangerous man in AEW like that, all bets are off. And plus, Prince Nana threatening Swerve, teasing the breakup, which I don't even want to see that. I don't even want to experience that. Don't even pull the trigger on that. Don't, because it's like Prince Nana is, how should I put this? Prince Nana, like Paul Heyman, what Paul Heyman is to Roman is what Nana is to Swerve in AEW. I mean, like that's basically yin and yang. Like, boom, right there, then and there. Like, and plus, like what I just talked about earlier, imagine if Swerve beats Ricochet. Then you got your next challenger for Moxley or Coke, whoever, for All In. Not Dynasty. Yeah, Dynasty is where Swerve became a champ, but if you want that to monument to something bigger, have it at All In. And if Hangman beats MJF and Swerve beats Mox or Cope at All In, you have them two run it back, but with higher circumstances for the AEW World Championship. With this time around, Hangman has what Swerve got, with the one title that Hangman said that Swerve didn't want to get to. Because I don't see Ricochet winning here. I mean, as much as Ricochet has it, because think about Ricochet here, when he was in WWE, he was not known as a promo guy.
No.
At all. Now look what he's been doing since he's got to AEW. He's got character. He's got promo ability now, which you would have never thought that even with Ricochet being a promo guy. But I just don't see Ricochet becoming that number one contender to become a AEW World Champion just yet. Just yet. But also, it's fighting for Prince Nana's legacy. If Swerve don't get it done here, that's the last Sunday night, maybe the last time we see Prince Nana swerve. I don't want to see that being the last time. I want to see that keep going forever and ever and ever. But Swerve has to tap back into what made him the most dangerous man in AEW. Ricochet going to learn that firsthand of what Hangman Adam Page already been through the ringer with Swerve. Ricochet don't have that killer instinct. Swerve does. That's what separates, and that's what's going to determine the outcome of this match is killer instinct. If Ricochet can't find that killer instinct in him, Swerve's going to eat him alive. So I got Swerve winning because of just that one motive alone. Killer instinct.
I mean, as JD would say, that's fair. I mean, we saw what happened literally tonight. He stabbed the man with his own pair of scissors in the head quite fiercely. And again, when more than profession is on the line, but personal matters are on the line, all bets are off when your name is Swerve Strickland, who will do anything but what you think is right to get to where he needs to be. Prince Nana approved, Prince Nana maybe requiring. Well, JJ, again, the man signed the dotted line literally 3 years ago. He talked about at Full Gear, in one of the violent matches we ever saw, he was looking for a spot. He made his own. He created his dynasty last year. Can it repeat itself, and can he finally put Trevor in his place? He already did tonight on Dynamite when he brought up the fact the only thing you'll be remembered for more so is your wife's name. Damn. About to say, the wife being the freaking stockholder versus the freaking man himself. All right, then. Shit, Ricochet. Jesus.
So traditionally speaking, when someone has the upper hand going to a pay-per-view, what happens?
Usually the other guy wins.
Right.
So Swerve has the upper hand coming out of tonight. And he brought up his ring announcer wife.
Yes, he did.
So I've been cooking all night. What if this is how we get the debut of Samantha in AEW?
She
And
did.
she helped Ricochet win.
Oh, God.
She did put out on Twitter, I want my job back.
But, wait, what? Her job back? Wait a minute. But she didn't want to be announced. Uh-oh.
Swerve and Ricochet are fighting. Nana tries to get involved. Samantha comes in to counteract Nana. Ricochet capitalizes, gets the victory.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I mean, again, you drop a wife's name, I mean, all bets are off, all right? Because the hell have no fear, like a woman's scorn. And
she's
again,
been backstage, as she's been backstage quite a bit at a few AEW tapings.
I mean, and Swerve, he doesn't have a miss as far as we know, because again, to Jade's point, Swerve even said, I left all that behind for this. If anyone's all in on AEW, it's Swerve Strickland, damn it. So I do get what you're saying, but also just to play a little bit of counterpoint to JJ, yes, Swerve had the upper hand in the beginning. At the end of the show, who was pinned? Swerve Strickland by Ricochet. Thanks to the assist, the Continental Championship to the face. Beach. So again, Ricochet.
But that was
right
Okada laying him out. That wasn't Ricochet.
It actually, well, in a way, it wasn't Okada directly. It was indirectly Ricochet taking advantage. It was still Ricochet at the end who pinned the man.
I was in and out when that part was happening, but I saw the majority of the contract signing. So.
Oh, I got you. And again, when that
Fair enough.
When he dropped Samantha's name, that place went like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
That it just got more real from the realest of the room. Go figure.
And even former WCW champion, WCW head booker, WWF head booker, TNA head booker Vince Russo has talked about the possibility of Samantha coming on Ricochet, forming that power couple dynamic.
Bro, you're talking some crazy shit, bro. But
is he really, bro? But is he really? Just maybe. Because of who the messenger is. Y'all were entertaining it when I was saying it, but I bring up his name, now all of a sudden it's talking crazy.
Well,
I'm just saying, let's just focus on the words, not the messenger.
You know what? That's fair. I mean, it's like professional developments that I've taken. Listen to understand, not listen to hear. So I acknowledge that, JJ. And again, I always considered Samantha to be someone to be part of AEW in a capacity that she wanted to be more than just a ring announcer.
And I was just going to say, and what did Samantha always want?
Manager.
She wanted to be involved. She wanted to be a manager. What better way, now that she's been name dropped on the go home show to the pay-per-view?
Mm-hmm. If not at the pay-per-view itself, I could see the aftermath of her going after Prince Nana just cause. But either way, yeah. And again, if there's one thing you can say about AEW, they don't always follow 50-50 booking. And sometimes that's to the betterment of longing a story. But again, we'll wait and see. Either way, one of these men is going after that world championship. Speaking of which, who pulls the final shot here, guys? Let's just go ahead and talk about this trigger, because with all due respect, I think there are 3 matches that have far more value main event than this, because it's one of those things right now where we do look at the Death Rider storyline and John Moxley going in here alone, allegedly. I do consider how much longer you can go without literally presenting the AEW World Championship, the symbol of your company. And either way, it's John Moxley versus Cope one-on-one, where John Moxley says he's looking to break the man's neck, and Cope has literally taken out every Death Rider. Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, thanks to Willow, Maria Shafir, And we saw what happened with Yuta tonight. But here's the thing about Yuta that really surprises me. He didn't take him out. He said, this is what you call respect. The young boy of the group being respected. And why did he come to AEW for? Respect and growth. He left Jon Moxley, but he didn't leave via concerto. And Jon Moxley was trained by William Regal. What was William Regal's last lesson before he left AEW? Always have eyes in the back of your head and always be one step ahead. It was the very last lesson William Regal gave Jon Moxley the Blackpool Comic before he said it's been emotional and went back to NXT. I don't think Jon Moxley forgot those lessons. I think there's a purpose why Jon Moxley has held this championship for as long as he's had, even if we were questioning it. Again, a lot was shown during that close-up. I think we need another close-up, though, down the line after this. And there's one thing I take away from that close-up. He said, I'm building an army. It's not just us. What if ... There is somebody else we don't know. We're in the City of Angels where devils also thrive. And we also know, thanks to tonight, Jay White will be there to see a new AEW World Champion. Cope. Gee, I wonder why he paused. JJ, what do you guys say regarding the AEW World Championship? Knowing you were talking about the Ops earlier, the Ops who beat, I don't know. The Patriarchy who, I don't know. The Patriarch still has a guaranteed AEW World Championship opportunity till in this year. Do you see a new champion finally?
I want to. Because I'm tired of Mox.
I feel a lot of people are, to be sincerely honest.
Yep.
But there's 2 matches on this card that I think back to thinking about this match. Swerve and Ricochet, MJF and Hangman. One of these 4 men is likely going to be the number 1 contender.
Yep.
So, and I realize Swerve and Ricochet is for the contendership, but let's not sell out Hangman and MJF either.
I'm actually looking more at these 2 men than I am looking at one of the men in the other graphic. If I'm being sincerely honest, you considering one man did it last year at Dynasty, but please continue.
So let's break this down just a little bit.
Go for it.
Ricochet versus Moxley. Nope.
Nah.
Ricochet versus Cope. Nope.
Nope.
Ricochet versus Christian. Possibilities here. Possibilities here. Swerve versus Moxley. Okay. The most violent man in AEW versus the leader of the Death Riders.
Most dangerous man versus the most violent. Oh, good Lord.
Swerve versus Cope. There's some possibilities here.
I like that, actually.
Swerve versus Christian. There's some possibilities here.
Or Prince Nana freaking swerves in front of Mama Wayne.
Hangman versus Mox. There's some possibilities here.
History, considering he literally choked the man out with a steel chain last year, 2 years ago at Revolution. Continue.
Hangman versus Cope. Maybe.
Buckshot Larry versus Spear would actually be interesting.
But if Page is trying to work his way back to being a good guy, I don't think a feud with Cope is going to be the way to do it.
Yeah, I don't see Cope going heel that quick.
Hangman versus Christian?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Page
There's
versus
some
Cage.
possibilities here.
Page versus Cage.
MJF versus Mox.
Oh, boy.
The Pillar versus the Champion.
Been their Full Gear 21.
Yeah. But it was with
Run it
William
back.
Regal's help. Run it back. See if he can do it on his own.
MJF versus Cope. The promos alone would be fucking gold.
I'm sure he's going to attack more than just his neck in Canada. I guarantee you that.
MJF versus Christian?
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Not as many possibilities because both are diabolical heels, but just give me a promo off on the road to the title.
Took the words out of my mouth.
So we can almost eliminate Ricochet from this going back to that last match.
Yes.
But I feel like the most positive upswing here would be for Cope. So I'm going to go with Cope tentatively. Again, wait until I get on to predictions tomorrow, see what everybody else says, see if anyone can sway my mind. But
Yep.
I'm leading a little bit more towards Cope. And I don't know if Christian tries to cash in tonight or if he holds off.
Yeah, she's running out of time though. But again, he still has till All In.
But do you wait until you go to Canada to do it? And will they be in Canada between March and
Through
July?
Yep.
Right.
And if you want to be technical, All In was in August. So if he has a full year, he's got until Forbidden Door. Because that would be August this year.
True,
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. If Forbidden Door is after freaking
All In
this year, which is even more confusing to me because this schedule now is Dynasty, Double or Nothing, All In, Forbidden Door. So it's a little odd to speak at the least. And if I'm looking at the calendar right, I don't think there's anything for June. So it's thankfully, again, they're not monthly. They do like 9. So hopefully they just stop at that number. Even then, I think that's too many. But I do get what you're saying. And we know that AEW loves to do special pay-per-view level shows as well. And it could be one of those situations where one of those is in Canada. But I do think before the year is out, quote unquote, for the contract, I do think Christian Cage will catch it successfully and become the AEW World Champion. Because to this day, he still feels like the most valuable player that they got from WWE.
I mean, there's a part of me that says he does it right after Cope wins the title.
Same.
Just to be that ultimate opportunist that Edge was.
Ding, ding.
But I also could see him biding his time to where it would hurt Cope the most.
Exactly. But also, Revolution, Christian Cage signed on the dotted line at this event. Be full circle 3 years later. Well, King, again, a lot of food to digest, but outside the match possibilities, we talked about the Death Riders' presence or another one thereof, or the Nostradamus of wrestling and his influence thereof. You brought up FTR, you brought up Jay White. For all we know, Claudio, Pac, Shafir, and Yuta have been removed from the equation, but Yuta's the only one that wasn't concertoed. Does Yuta get involved? And does he get involved on Coach's behalf? Was the work in the whole time? As he's still brainwashed underneath Jon Moxley's mission statement? Or, again, do we get another Death Rider arriving on the scenes? Is Jay White the one that controls the result here? Because he says, maybe Jay White goes, if I can't win it, nobody can. Let's keep in mind, this man still has a 1-1 victory over Jon Moxley, and he has not faced Jon Moxley one-on-one yet. So what do you guys say concerning this?
It's Jay White being a Nostradamus that he is. And it's like, Cope doesn't know that. Cope doesn't know the fact that Jay White has probably been pulling the strings all this time. And it's like, but if that happens, what happens to Bullet Club Gold? Because you got the Bullet Club War Dogs coming in soon, because we've already had Gabe Kidd, we've already had Clark Connors, and everybody's now waiting on David Finlay, and then we're going to get BCG versus BC War Dogs because everybody wanted to see David Finlay and Jay White at Forbidden Door. I feel like, but that's probably near in the future. This is now. If somehow Jay White still continues to be on Cope's side, then it's like, why do I have the feeling that it might be FTR? Because Moxley said he's not like he's all alone, but he's always a step ahead. What has FTR done? Have they been aligned with Cope as of late? No. They've been taking care of tag team business
and losing.
And losing. And didn't even offer to shake the hands of Kyle O'Reilly and Roger Strong. They just walked away. It was a very great tag match on Collision. And they just walked away.
Right.
and they haven't been the same since after they helped out Cope. They haven't been the same since. Why
this
do I
guy's never
feel
the same. He's just a man of chaos. Hey, James, what brought you to the party late?
I completely forgot that it was going to be right after Dynamite, and I slept through most of this shit, to be honest.
You're fine, bro. It's all good. We're just talking some of the biggest matches here on Revolution. Not really predicting, but more like our impromptu main events like we do. We've just been talking about the World Championships. Right now, King's speaking. And then if you want to say anything regarding this match as we continue, you're welcome to. But welcome to the impromptu anniversary, man. Go ahead, King.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like I was saying, it's like if Jay White doesn't be the one to turn, it's going to be FTR, because FTR hasn't been with Cope since who knows, God knows when. That's why I feel like Mox is going to retain, because it's either Wheeler going to get involved somehow, or there's another person or a tag team that's going to get involved. Mox is going to retain.
Well, James, we were talking about outside factors, the aspects of Mox retaining versus Mox losing, and then the cause and effect where it could be maybe one of these four men challenging for the AEW World Championship down the line. We were also talking about people that could show up, including Not Limited to. You were talking about, I believe, a Glamazon earlier, and we noticed he used the Glam Slam against Wheeler Yuta. You saw that too, JJ, during the match, of course. So, again, that's also another aspect that we could figure about that could show up here, especially if the problem gets involved again, which fears no man or woman. But, James, what do you guys think it's looking at the aspect of who's going to pull the trigger first here in Jon Moxley's work as it comes to the AEW World Championship? Is Jon Moxley now truly alone, or has he been working us this whole time, and does he still hold on to the position of AEW World Championship? What you got to say regarding this? Give some thoughts. Again, it's not really prediction. It's more like impromptu preview. You got anything to say regarding this?
Boy, it's one of those things where they're finally starting to pick up some steam with the Death Rider storyline. I've even said it with JJ on, I don't even know how many shows now, but finally it seems like they're actually giving a shit about it. And you know why, if you know the rumors that Shane was supposed to come in, but it's a good thing he didn't accept that, as we found out way later. But, it's one of those things where now it's like, okay, well, how are you going to continue this dominance if you don't have more people on your side? Not for nothing, I feel like this is definitely set up for FTR to turn on Copeland. I don't know if it's necessarily to join the Death Riders, but it's definitely to turn on Cope, because ever since the whole incident that happened 2 years ago, FTR has really not been doing much. And then you couple that with the whole motive of the Death Riders. Why wouldn't they join this crusade? I feel like if there's anybody that's going to turn and join up with the Death Riders, it has to be FTR, just because the story beats make way too much sense for it to not be FTR. But I don't know. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah. Again, JJ said the word tonight. Revolution is going to set up so much for everybody, win or lose, this year in AEW, and what truly has felt like a new era since they span it out with this Max setup and now delivering pay-per-views on Prime. AEW is truly resetting the landscape and doing what they said in the first place, restoring the feeling back to professional wrestling. Damn it, it's a beautiful thing to see. So I'm extremely curious, though, about the AEW World Championship. Will it finally come to light again? And is it coming as soon as Revolution, or is it still pending? Again, positive one of these four men. And keep in mind, James, former AEW World Champion, former AEW World Champion, former AEW World Champion, Ricochet. And this match right here is number one contenders match for the AEW World Championship. And the next pay-per-view is Dynasty, where Swerve won the title in the first place.
True. Absolutely true.
So, again, a lot of cause and effect. All right, well, good deal. We got 3 matches left, and I'm definitely saving our main event for last, and you know what that is. So let's go ahead since James here, and he can kick this off because if there's one thing you can say about me and James when it comes to covering AEW, he never says nope when this guy's on the screen, bruv. And now these two are going to sell it in a rubber inside a fucking steel cage. Will Ospreay and the protostar Kyle Fletcher of the Don Callis family. Ever since these two that used to live together, fight in empty arenas to literally protect each other's mentalities in 2020, they've literally have been locked in combat and in friendship, and now are locked in this blood rivalry. Kyle Fletcher getting the win of his career back in Full Gear, while Will Ospreay got a win bloody as hell against him at World's End. And now these two look to settle the score inside a steel cage after Fletcher and Konosuke lost down under in Australia in what you call the damnedest doomsday device of your life. This is the steel cage, though. This is Will Ospreay. He's fucking insane. And Kyle Fletcher says he wants to die a king. Someone else might die from something extremely insane. Dave Meltzer, reaction not pending. James, what do you got to say regarding this rubber match? Talking about the future of AEW, the AEW World Championship, the future of both these men, might I add, where Kyle Fletcher is trying to prove he is not like Will Ospreay in any capacity. What do you guys say regarding this steel cage match?
It's gotta be Ospreay, and I only say that because they obviously have to give him some wins back. I feel like they're definitely gonna team him back up with Mark Davis. Feel like they're gonna really reignite Aussie Open's short reign, and now that they're with the Don Callis family together, I feel like Aussie Open could be another tag team under Don Callis's ranks. But yeah, I gotta go with Ospreay here. I feel like this is the natural conclusion for what the story they've been trying to tell, even though it's been very haphazard. I feel like as on and off again as this has been, they gotta go with Ospreay now, just because as much as I love what they've done with Fletcher, the little they've done with him, I feel like him and Davis are better as a tag team in a division that absolutely is starving for credible tag teams right now. Aussie Open would definitely fill a hole in that. So yeah, I'd say go with Ospreay because obviously you have plans for him as a singles.
JJ, 2 questions. One, does Ospreay dive off the top of the steel cage? And you know how tall that steel cage is versus WWE. 2, you saw what happened on Dynamite tonight when Kyle Fletcher fucking jackhammered the man on his already compromised left shoulder on a steel chair, and Mark Davis reluctantly watched from the entranceway. So just a couple of elements for JJ to add to his preview thoughts on this.
And yeah, let's hope he doesn't break a leg. Please don't break a leg, Ospreay. I beg of you.
Don't pull a cope.
This is Will Ospreay we're talking about. The man's not human, but I still understand your concern. That being said, we also know, of course, Don Callis, no doubt, will somehow find a way to be involved in this. Might involve a screwdriver again. And we also know Kyle Fletcher, former Ring of Honor World Television Champion. This win could define his career, but also a loss could also reshape his career. Whether for better or for the worse, I have no fucking idea. The man says he wants to die a king. That's literally his MO. He's legitimately more bat crazy than Will Ospreay right now, in my opinion, with this mindset influenced by Don Callis. So someone legitimately might get hurt here. But JJ, your thoughts on this steel cage, and do you agree with James' assessment? We talked about 4 men earlier, well, technically 3, for the AEW World Championship picture. Could Will Ospreay be another with a win here against somebody he once looked at as a brother?
I definitely think Will Ospreay is someone to consider for the world title picture. I think all signs point to him becoming champion at All In. The question is do we move the belt before then or not?
Good point.
A lot of options.
You know, or if not All In, since it's going to be in Texas, then in Forbidden Door when they go back to the UK.
Last year, he challenged Ford Strickland, of course, at Forbidden Door for the AEW World Championship and lost.
So, I mean, Ospreay, I think, is a given here. I'm definitely considering him doing something
Ridiculous.
stupid off of the top. Him and Fletcher both. I mean, hell, James and I called Natalia Markova doing a fucking missile drop kick off the top of the cage last night against Tiffany Nieves.
Yep.
Jesus.
So,
And we're talking like Danielson drop kick. We're not talking about the one where they land on their side. Like she literally snapped back off that.
and then crawled over to get the pinfall.
Yes.
That's
So,
one tough bitch.
yeah, you ain't kidding.
But you gotta figure it's going to Ospreay here. I mean, Fletcher for the most part has dominated this feud. And you gotta have Ospreay get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's got the finality of the cage match here, which is going to suck going from this match. And then we're going to go to the Garden the following night and we're going to have that cage match.
About to say, we got 2 nights of back-to-back cage matches.
And you know everybody is going to be comparing because that's what the net marks do.
Well, that's their problem. Not me.
But yeah, you got to go Ospreay here.
Yeah, I mean, King, anything that further to add when it comes to Kyle Fletcher's like breakout rise as a single star with the Don Callis influence? Again, big marquee pay-per-view match once again for the Proto Star, and while he looks to die a king, he might die broken to the bruv.
Yeah, Ospreay is going to be well given here. Like they said, Ospreay needs his wins back because Kyle has been dominant as a singles competitor representing the Don Callis family. I mean, we talking former Ring of Honor World Television Champion, and then of course getting close to becoming a Continental Classic winner. And I mean, he's been on a rise. He was on a rise last year that I took him for granted as a single star because I didn't think he was that good of a single star. I always thought him as a tag team wrestler, but the more he broke out as a single star, the more I was like, okay, yeah, push him. But in this case, though, since they're tied 1-1, Ospreay needs to get his wins back. I'm going with Will Ospreay.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I think with Will Ospreay and the up and downs he's had and the fact that he's going to be going in here less than 100% after what happened on Dynamite, damn it. And you got that Mark Davis tie in there as well, where Mark Davis, he may be with the Don Callis family, but he's not fully consumed by hatred yet, unlike Kyle Fletcher. That might be the X factor there in this little story plot where you consider Mark Davis. He came back as a mystery opponent for Ospreay under the influences of Don Callis to carry out Kyle Fletcher's dirty work. Of course, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis, Aussie Open, as James was alluding to, former tag teams. I imagine if Mark Davis turns his back on his family, you're not getting that tag team anytime soon. Besides, give the Alvarez some respect, damn it. Anyway, I do think, though, that Will Ospreay needs this win. So, again, it's just one of those things right now where you look at the way the story's been told. To your point, it's a short period since Full Gear. Well, honestly, since Wrestle Dream last year with the betrayal from Don Callis. This is a nice way to put a bow on this very violent saga with two insane aerial assassins in their own right, bruv. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Well, from one side of the Don Callis family hatred to the other side of Don Callis family hatred to another match that's all about the hot chick. It's their time to charm between Alpha and Omega. Let's talk about Konosuke Takeshita versus Kenny Omega. And you were putting some unique highlights on what could be our AEW All-In marquee match, if not one of many, JJ. And according to your philosophy, you already talked about what result you might be expecting, but Konosuke, who's been AEW National Champion since winning that Triple Threat Wrestle Dream, to my point, boy, Ospreay and Omega stories legitimately came out of Wrestle Dream, actually. That's pretty damn good storytelling since we're in March. Nice job, AEW. Anyway, Omega, of course, this new lease on life, fighting successfully diverticulitis with this rebirth theme from Final Fantasy, the final boss, we like to call professional wrestling in a video game-wise state. Literally the one-wing angel. We saw his war with Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty. We've seen what he's done here in Dynamite and in AEW. We've seen the feud with the Don Callis family aligning with Ospreay. Again, one of the damnedest tag finishers we've ever seen. James can literally attest. But now we have Konosuke Omega 3, second time ever in singles in AEW, while Konosuke has already registered to wrestle for 3 different companies. He's been international champion since Wrestle Dream. He's the Neverweight Championship, and of course, he works for NWW, DDT Pro, and AEW. And again, no offense to the Alpha who's on the run of his career. That's a hell of a schedule to keep up with, bruv. And we know that he's facing Tanahashi no matter what at Windy City Riot. And again, could he become the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in a matter of hours? Damneder things have happened, despite what marketing might say. But it's one of those things right here where I often don't bet against Kenny Omega under singles because that's when he is the best at what he does, by God. So that being said, can you start this one up? What you got to say regarding Alpha versus Omega 3?
August 2023. Takeshita pinned Omega in a tag in a trios match. Takeshita had Omega 1-0. Then a week later in Chicago at All Out, when it was just a one-on-one match, Takeshita pinned Omega clean, center of the ring, 2-0. And it actually does question Kenny. Is Kenny the best bout machine? Because if Takeshita beats him, I think you can allude to Takeshita as the best bout machine. But also holding an international championship does require travel schedule, like defending it in Rev Pro, defending it possibly in New Japan, defending it in, any wrestling promotion that you could think of underneath the sun, underneath the AEW partnership or whatever.
CMLL, he literally just defended his Neverweight Championship, by the way, in CMLL on the 28th against Angel Del Oro, successfully.
And of course, Takeshita being a busy champion representing Never Openweight champion and AEW International champion, he's Alpha 2 belts under first wrestler to ever sign under 3 contracts, and that's DDT Pro, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, something like that. He's like he's big time.
That's a lot of dates, and that's a lot of commitment. And I feel like one way or another, that will wear down Takeshita just a bit. And I feel like in order for Kenny to prove himself to be the best wrestler in the world and basically get back to the top, momentum wise, he's going to have to defeat Takeshita. I think we'll see a new AEW International Champion, and I hate to say it on Takeshita, but I can't bet against Kenny. I can't
either. Yeah. Especially when you look at what they're doing for All In, and it really is looking like they're going to go for Texas. It looks like they're going to do Okada Omega. Was it 6 now or whatever?
Technically, yes, but continue.
Yeah, so this is their 6th bout. It's the first one on American soil. They're going to try to make it title for title. They're going to put both their respective championships in AEW on the line. This is unfortunately, it basically is the living, breathing definition of Takeshita was the transitional guy, basically. So, I'm with him.
It's the 23rd encounter with these two-man Sun capacity. The first bout that Kenny Omega had with Konosuke was back in 2012 in DDT Pro. Of course, you know the history of the Alpha and Omega. Konosuke introduced to the AEW audience back in the AEW dark days, and that's Rise to Promise, like we've been waiting for, under the influence and the invisible hand guidance of Don Callis towards the stardom that he is right now. And transitional, I think, still is a pretty hard work considering how long he's been champion and how many defenses he's had with the AEW National Champion. He's been champion now for over 140 days, and he's going into his freaking 10th defense. He's already defended this in AEW, in New Japan, in CMLL. He defended an MLP, James, against freaking Josh Alexander. So transitional, I think, undervalues the credit of making this title.
For sure. I'm just saying that for AEW, I haven't done much with him, which is crazy considering he was a double champion.
Well, again, he's been wrestling everywhere else, but I do understand what you're saying. And it almost feels like I said this during the freaking AEW watch along with King. Don Callis has steered, honestly, a couple of the biggest matches and stories into Revolution. Revolution is literally becoming the fall of the Don Callis family, it feels like. And rightfully so, based on the story it's being told with two of the biggest people, if not the biggest people, that Don Callis has influenced their entire careers for. So, in a way, we have Don Callis to thank for the fact we got 4 of the most promising wrestlers in the business feuding and colliding on the biggest pay-per-view on AEW's calendar to start with Revolution in marquee matches. So again, give credit where credit's due to Cyrus the Virus, I guess, who might be one of the most powerful people in AEW and in the wrestling business. It's wild to think about that actually is the case. JJ, again, I think James literally must have freaking ESP your brain when he literally said what you said verbatim earlier. So is there anything further you want to add versus the little nits that you added earlier regarding this match, this feud, and Kenny Omega, by God?
Nah.
There you go. Simply put. All right. Well,
Why not? Did I do something bad?
no, he talked about
No,
earlier as cause and
yeah,
effect.
I spoke about it earlier, and I basically said everything you just said about the unifying the titles and everything. So
Okay.
He beat you to the punch. Now we're going to make sure that the filibuster here speaks on everything that needs to be said when it comes to the greatest storyline in women's wrestling that I can remember with the two best workers in women's wrestling, because in my opinion, this is the main event. So JJ, spotlight virtually is on you. Go ahead, break it down, script it, close it, bring me to the Hollywood ending with, go ahead and say it, King.
Timeless
Toni Storm versus the Glamour. Mariah May, the woman from hell versus God, apparently. For the AEW Women's World Championship, no countouts, no disqualification, no holds barred, falls count anywhere. The unraveling of a starlet that hungers and lusts for the spotlight versus the one that has it all. And in a way, Mariah May has to thank her for that. But did Toni Storm create a monster that she can't vanquish? JJ, give me the conclusion to the best trilogy in women's wrestling. What happens during the Hollywood ending?
okay. I must have missed the part where they said that it was falls count anywhere, all that stuff. We may have been on the air and I had the volume turned down when they had that. So
the collision.
Since I know that now, okay, let me get my booking going on here, because
go for it.
If this is truly going to be falls count anywhere, if this is truly going to be a Hollywood ending,
yes,
then I'm booking this similar to the Roddy Piper Goldust street fight from WrestleMania
12.
I'm having them start in the ring.
Oh, Jesus.
And they leave the building.
As long as they don't drive on the expressway. Go freaking LA? Hell no.
To the point where they go to Hollywood.
Oh, what? God.
Dude, it is a Hollywood ending, and you have timeless Toni Storm, the epitome of 1940s, 1950s Hollywood actresses. You go to Hollywood Boulevard. You fight along the Walk of Fame where all the stars are. You fight at Grauman's Chinese Theater where the old stars put their hand and their footprints in as they did their movie premieres. You can film that shit beforehand and slice it in. You know, that way they can have a few minutes to breathe. So you have this be like the first or the second match, even though we think this should be our main event. And hear me out, this is why. Because they have to leave the venue. So you got to give them time to drive from Staples Center to Hollywood. That's at least 30 minutes in decent traffic. Not good traffic, decent traffic.
For those that don't know, he's actually out in California, so he legitimately knows this. Continue.
So you've got to give them enough time to drive there. And then you insert the footage. So while they're driving there, you could have a match play out on TV. Oh, what's this? We're hearing word that Toni Storm and Mariah May have stopped. Insert the footage of them brawling in Hollywood.
Oh, Lord.
fighting down the Walk of Fame, fighting at Grauman's Chinese Theater, fighting in front of Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, where they have statues of Marilyn Monroe.
Ah, there it is. I was waiting for that name to drop.
And let the pinfall happen on the handprints at Grauman's Chinese Theater.
I mean, hell, if they fought everywhere else, why not?
It has to. That is the only thing I will accept. I will accept nothing less.
What if AEW can't get permission to do that? You know as well as I do what goes
Green
into
screen.
stuff like that.
Green screen and make it look right.
Green screen.
Look,
Hollywood magic.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Look. I know that once you were a wee lad, you used to watch some television.
He's right.
Wee lad.
I am pretty sure you have seen the I Love Lucy episode where they went to Grauman's Chinese.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
They went to Grauman's Chinese and stole John Wayne's footprints.
This is accurate.
I'm
Why are you
just
icon,
saying,
man? There could only be one icon, man.
How hard would it be to get somebody's footprints, make a replica or something? Use the brick as a weapon.
Use the brick as
like when Lucy and them crowbarred the footprints out and then ended up dropping it and it shattered.
The filibustering behind this is beyond AEW.
I'm just telling you, dude, it is a Hollywood ending. Remember, I'm the guy that booked Toni Storm to lose at Grand Slam Australia.
You are indeed.
Because I thought she should have gotten it back here, the same city that she originally won the title at Full Gear. I felt that would have been a good full circle moment. But with this being Falls Count Anywhere, they are missing a grand opportunity if they don't do something in Hollywood. Why else call it a Hollywood ending if you are not going to tap into it?
Yeah, I can actually understand that. I mean, the one thing I could expect probably from AEW when it comes to calling it a Hollywood ending is probably some sort of over-the-top limo red carpet entrance for either Thomas Toni Storm or the Glamour May, who yearns for what Thomas Toni Storm is, as she keeps saying, Mariah did it better. That's been the freaking storyline with Mariah unraveling since losing at Grand Slam. Continue.
Yeah.
And who's to say they don't already have footage canned?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Very good point.
I say that because Disney Hollywood Studios in Florida has its own mock-up of Grauman's Chinese Theater. What's the home base?
Yeah.
EW.
Yep.
Jacksonville, Florida.
What football team does the Cons own?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
You don't think they could get permission to go into Disney a half hour, an hour before the park opens to film some shit? On a
I'm liking where he's going.
On a mock-up of Grauman so that they don't damage the legitimate Graumans?
Hey, RJ City is the guy that's been literally helped producing the greatest storyline in women's wrestling.
And plus, let's not forget the TMC partnership too. So yeah, he could be on this. It adds up.
Yeah, we might get the guy that covers the freaking Turner Movie Network or whatever. That we're producer for Queen of the Ring.
Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah, that. And yeah, TCM. I know what I'm saying. And then also, you saw that producer, of course, the producer for Queen of the Ring. And we're, of course, talking about Queen of the Ring coming out this week while it's in theaters on Friday. And this, of course, is on Sunday. Who's to say that Thomas Toni Storm won't pull a Mildred Burke over-the-top entrance type theme for her grand finale against the Glamour Mariah
And plus,
May.
the producer name dropped Mulholland Drive. So what JJ's been saying, I mean, cooking up all night, it could lead to something.
He's right.
Full of red velvet here. Stir it up, you know.
He is cooking.
There's a lot of expectation with this Hollywood ending to be as dramatic, over the top, theatrical as possible, where there are no damn rules. And these two will literally die in hell to end this, it sounded like, after what we saw with that sit down, where so little gave more than fucking enough when it comes to the fact that I cannot wait to call my most anticipated match of this pay-per-view in one of my greatest sagas I've got to call with all of you guys in some capacity. And here we are, me, James, and King, the freaking JJ, talking about it. And JJ, you're about to fucking call it.
I mean, this is the type of stuff where I'm like, why don't these companies fucking hire me? I've got such great ideas inside my brain.
Yeah, you
Say
do.
your resume, your cover letter, what the hell?
Right.
But
What's
I mean,
going on?
like,
Hey, Tony will take it
they
anyway.
they want you to have like legitimate writing experience, and that's where I
Legitimate
like.
writers don't know jack shit. Sorry, been proven.
But
Right.
but by the way,
Because I did go to WWE Careers to try to look up how to get involved, and like looked at what they wanted, and I don't qualify.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, to be fair, AEW, you should be able to, considering how many ideas they've stolen from me, Eric, you collectively.
Here we
Look,
go.
all
Here
I
we
know is
go.
that if I wasn't working on Sunday and I had reliable transportation, I would try to find a way down to Staples Center so that I could talk to Tony,
That's fair.
because I have got ideas.
Don't we all? Well,
Here's the number one question, though, I think that should be on everyone's mind.
go for it.
Lay it on us.
Win or lose, where does either woman go from here?
That's the biggest thing on my mind, personally, when it comes to the glamour. Mariah May.
What is the next challenger for the champion?
Well,
Because
let's
this
look at
is an ending. They're calling it that. There is no
Yes.
more Tony Mariah.
Not for the longevity. And this has been one of the greatest sagas I've ever got to witness as a fan of professional wrestling. Gender be damned. Damn.
Yeah. So if Mariah gets the belt back, who's her next challenger?
Well,
If
that's
Tony
the thing
retains, who's her next challenger?
again, we talked about earlier, JJ, cause and effect. We don't know what's ahead, but something's got to be ahead for all the winners and losers. It's a matter of who has more going for them. Remember when Thomas Toni Storm won the title and gave her award-winning speech after Grand Slam? Any woman, anywhere, anytime. And that is a big aspect of AEW's connected relationships, considering we know who they got ties with. With
You know
Mariah
who's
May.
next? Wendy Richter.
Stop it. If Wendy Richter makes a freaking cameo somehow during this match, I'm walking out this room.
I
All
hope
right.
it happens
Let
now.
her be what helps Tony retain. Goddamn
Let
it!
it happen.
Look,
How
Wendy
dare you?
Richter,
How dare you?
I want it to happen now.
Damn it.
dressed
Put
as
that
the
on ether.
Spider Woman.
Oh, for the love of Pete. Oy,
Spider Gwen.
Spider Gwen freaking showing up off the wall. Outside the Staples Arena. All right. Anyway, I was going to say the glamour I made with one of the best breakout years in the business for a young female athlete under 30.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things where, again, she still has so much upside, but I do wonder, with the fact she had a taste of the spotlight and yearns for it so bad, she lusts for it. If she doesn't get it, does she just fade away for the time being and reset? Maybe she gets a realization how wrong I was and tries to regroup and rebuild herself. It's a very unique dynamic where I'm concerned and excited at the same time for this match, because I don't know necessarily what's ahead. And I talk about the depth of the women's division. There never was a fall with Sky Blue because she's injured. Yeah, we'll assume. Julia Hart is a young rising athlete, winning a dynasty last year with the TBS Championship, lost. She's never challenged though for the AEW Women's World Championship. It's one of those things where Chris Statlander, you've been trying to go after TBS for so long. Build yourself up to go after the world title, because you're definitely one of the ones that have the most potential. You're definitely one of the best workers in the women's division and most reliable, if I'm being honest. Megan Bayne, newest one on the scene. Mariah May did not know what the hell she was facing in that Battle Royale. Was glad she didn't face her. And right now, she's the queen of the ring, in my opinion, after that tag show on the night. She was tremendous. So, again, there's a number of options. Queen Aminata on the rise, as we've seen, being endorsed by the professor, Serena Deeb. It's just one of those things right now where I don't know. And I'm kind of glad I don't, but I'm also a little bit like, I don't know which way this is going. I'm confused. But it's just one of those things where if you're going to call this an ending, and this is the trilogy, it's the ending, it's got to be something big waiting on the other side for both in defeat and in victory. With a championship at this point is accessory. No offense to the AEW Women's World Championship, I still hold it to a higher pedigree than the freaking titles in other companies. I mean, again, the top one I still consider is the TNA World Championship, just saying. But I'm just really interested to see how this is portrayed and what is my ending scene. Both women bloodied in embrace, a kiss goodbye from Timeless Toni Storm to Mariah May, who gets to share the spotlight with her one last time. Like, what is that last shot from this? Which I kind of hope there is, a spotlight, roses, spotlight fades. That's the last you see of these two together in the same light. It's really something special to me what these two created and what is going to be created and what has to be their finale. So, again, I don't know, JJ. I can't wait to fucking find out.
A ghost of Tony's past. Ruby Soho or Saraya?
And Saraya was in a movie, Finding for My Family. Finding with My Family fits the bill. If Jamie Hayter gets her visas resolved, Jamie Hayter, Mariah May wanted to face Jamie Hayter, the Professor Eve Jamie Hayter with the crazy silver, pink, black hair, the renegade, no pun intended. So it's one of those things also. There's a lot of different ways this could go for either woman. And I really look forward to finding out. But first off, brava. Well, then, I don't want to say top that shit or let your minds explode, but James, King, good luck. Who'd like to go next?
I ain't got nothing, so count me out of that.
I was about to say, how the fuck are we supposed to follow what?
Are you just gonna throw us into the fire like that after what JJ just cooked up, and you think we could top that?
Let me just say, okay, let me add.
Yeah, you can add something. There's co-writers.
Okay, I'll add something to ruin it. All right, here we go. Ready? Black and white motif, right? So Curly from the Three Stooges comes in, and that role is played by Luther, and he helps somehow. So he'll have like a Curly moment where, fucking Toni Storm, like he plays, and then like that gets Luther back to the dark, to Chaos Project Luther, and then he just starts attacking.
No, don't bring back Chaos Project Luther. I had to translate Lutherian so many times that I forgot what Lutherian even means anymore. Don't bring those days back up.
Yeah, you got Lutherian science and you got Stardom Math. I don't see the problem.
James wants to see, he wants to see Mariah May and Toni Storm invade a stage where they literally are creating a silent movie, and the only thing we see is subtitles of "Ow, you bitch," and then literally then Luther comes in to try and bring it up, and they both kick him in the balls.
Like the 60s Batman. Pow! Kablam!
All the genres of cinema, from the corniest to the brightest of pop colors. We go from black and white to technicolor and Technicolor and bring it back in the 21st century.
But I'm kind of glad you mentioned Sky Blue's name, because when you were talking about the Vendetta earlier,
yes,
I was thinking about Sky Blue for that edition.
And she's waiting for her medical clearance to see if she's cleared to return or not.
That's a good point too, but also on a JS history with the Vendetta as well. So maybe both actually. Again, two young. Again, the AEW Women's Division, so much fucking potential.
Yep.
Freaking capitalize on it.
Yep.
Anyway.
Please do.
Well, the bottom line, again, this right here, this is my fucking main event, damn it. I can't wait to see what these two do to each other. Don't break a leg, but theoretically break a leg. Giving an ending to remember that actually makes me care about the words Hollywood. Because, again, fuck movies. But this right here might literally be a movie, and I will not regret seeing it. Or calling
Hopefully
it.
it'll be a happy ending.
For who?
For who?
The fans.
Oh, good point.
That's accurate. All right. Well, I think it's also accurate that with James, who just dropped in, I can't believe he crashed before you, King. You haven't dropped out yet.
That's odd. I don't know what happened there.
I might have jinxed it, though, to be fair. But then again, you've always had technical difficulties when it comes to your microphone, where you might as well think I am speaking silently when you can't fucking hear me. Anyway.
Hey, listen, that happened one time. I'm sorry.
All right, let me go ahead and freaking rant for a moment regarding that. In silent movie... No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Oh my gosh. All right. So now I need to go on a silent rant regarding something that pisses me off in wrestling. The entertainer who's playing in the background. Got it. In black and white. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I'll make sure to make a freaking black and white cue card that says all my hatred towards whatever you yahoos piss me off with or what wrestling pissed me off
You know
with.
what? We've got almost a month still. I'm going to send you the WrestleMania trailer with all the stuff from like April 1st through the Raw After Mania. And I want you to do a silent movie reaction like you did back in the day.
You know what song you have to use for this, too?
That was the silent reaction video you did was so great. You did it black and white, you had the birds and everything. It was gold, and we've got plenty of time to make the most out of that still.
You literally want me to create a sequel of that?
Yep.
Well, damn it.
For WrestleMania.
All right. Well, other things I do for friends. All right. Well, we'll see when that comes to light as I come back into full color and we come back into full color to conclude this incredible anniversary edition of the Impromptu. Where James, you missed one of the damnedest conversations on food that broke the king and so much more. But again, it was a pleasure having you part of the anniversary talking about.
I missed the food combo. What did I miss?
James, don't you start.
What
All
happened?
right,
All we're going to say is go back to the start of this and listen to what I said about Big Boom AJ, and
Oh
we're
my
going to leave
gosh.
it there.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
JJ went
I
on
already
a
know.
like oof.
He came in like more than a wrecking ball, legit.
Well, I mean, I can at least do my best Big Boom AJ impression. Double
You're not on
chocolate
camera.
cookie.
I thought you were going to do the boom.
Bring it on,
Boom.
boom.
That's the only boom that matters. But anyway, all
Nice.
right, guys. Well, that's a wrap. Without putting up the friggin' that's all, folks. Let's go ahead and show some stuff here. Guys, it's been an absolutely incredible pleasure talking impromptu with you regarding all things wrestling. Again, happy anniversary to ATW and James, JJ, King, the entire W fam. Thank you as always. I hope we continue to just enjoy live, enjoy wrestling, and the most ridiculous of off-the-script conversations that culminates in a love and an outlook on the next biggest show coming up in wrestling. And if nothing else, I hope everyone's also looking forward to whoever watched this, the length of was Friday Night SmackDown with a little bit of extra. I hope everyone now is a little bit more excited looking towards what's coming up in wrestling, especially coming up this Sunday with AEW Revolution, despite the fact you have this on the 0 hour. That's what I was referring to, King, or James. So again, folks, stay tuned for AEW Revolution. We're coming at Simple Apple Studios. It's a hell of a kickoff for AEW's pay-per-view 2025. Let's see what happens with it. All right, and we'll see if anyone can top that shit when it comes to the Hollywood ending. I think, though, honestly, there are several matches that could definitely reach that point and surprise us beyond the point, but we'll have to wait and see. Also, Outrunners, good luck. All right, let's go ahead and bid everybody a fine adieu in usual simple fashion here. Again, JJ, always a pleasure. Why do you keep dropping out, bro?
I didn't drop out. I was still here.
Well, now you're here again, so there you go. JJ, again,
I'm
always
out
a
there.
pleasure. Always a working man. Always appreciate you, my friend. I look forward to further predicting this with you tomorrow night. To the predicting, well, tonight, Eastern Coast time, because now it's 1:23 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. That's crazy. Go ahead and tell people where they can connect to find you and what you got to head to.
Well, you can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, X and Blue Sky ROW JJ Williams, YouTube Casa D18 Studios. Today has been a busy as hell day to me. You know, we had Walter hosted a space at noon my time. That went till about 2:30, so 5:30 y'all's time.
Good Lord.
Then there was another space at 4 my time, so 7 your time, that I jumped into for about 20 minutes before we started our Evolve coverage.
Yeah.
Then we had Evolve coverage at 4:30 my time, 7:30 your time. That went for an hour and a half because it was about an hour show plus our lead in.
Good God.
Then I watched Dynamite and came in here. So, I've busy man today.
It sounds like me sometimes. I appreciate you, but as always,
Gotta,
get inside and get that rest.
yeah,
So
exactly. Got to network, got to get the name out, got to try to get to promote, subscribe,
Yes.
subscribe to Rage of Wrestling.
yes,
Subscribe.
dude. The fact that we've been on Geekbox like multiple times now because of that, like that's so crazy to me. That Geekbox included us in our compilations.
That's still really awesome to me. And again, I'm very humbled by that. I hope people are encouraged to just be yourself.
You're included
as a
with
fan
some of
of
the biggest
wrestling.
reactors ever. Like that's so crazy.
Yeah, I don't put myself on I don't put myself on a pedestal, but if I can encourage people nothing more but my voice and my passion, then I'm happy to do that. So again, thank you, Geekbox. So again, and thank you, JJ. James, again, man, you also been part of the fam for a period of time like JJ. Maybe not since the beginning, but again, it's still fun having you, dude. But go ahead and tell where the people can find you because you're always quite busy too.
Yeah. You guys can find me on the YouTube, Instagram, and X at JHeapSide95 and on Facebook at JHeap. But I do really care and things on the internet. So yeah, go check out all my stuff there. Go check out my uncle's documentary, part 1. Part 2 is damn nearing done. I'm basically just at the mercy of people outside of my control again. What else is old with that? But it's okay. I love them anyway. On that, basically, everything else is done. I'm just waiting, basically, like it's. I apparently sitting duck is the wrong metaphor, but I'm gonna say sitting duck, because it makes sense to me. So yeah, I've just been waiting like a sitting duck until it's delivered to me. So be on the lookout for it. Part 2 coming out, but run that up. Part 1, almost at 2K views. Also, King, would love to have you on a Spaces sometime, dude. So it turns out that my initial theory about Twitter is the problem is you don't have enough freaking characters to type in your actual thoughts. That theory proved to be right. Spaces is actually way healthier of a community on X, on Twitter, than actual Twitter.
Oh,
so
I'll think about it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it, dude, because I've had a blast. I've met so many cool people. JJ and Noah Proxy never shown up in the Spaces, has met a lot of. Oh yeah, just consider Spaces, not Twitter itself. Spaces good. Spaces very good.
I'm glad y'all been having fun with that. Speaking of fun, here's some fun courtesy of the Renegade here that he likes to share. Go ahead. What? Again,
you called for it, Walter. I was waiting for it to make the grand announcement, but you telegraphed it like 15 minutes ago. So there goes the surprise.
Is it really a surprise we were waiting for it? It was just a matter of when it was actually going to happen. You said yourself, JJ. You were calling for an Archon to occur in this.
SmackDown instead. They've done a lot here at this pay-per-view, PLE.
Oh no!
He's dragging Sammy out of. That's pretty. That again. If we just encourage when our only act is in passion, that's really cool. Again, thank you.
That's the newest one.
Again,
that's
subscribe.
The newest one. Yep.
Subscribe to Geekbox and become your own content creator because you never know where your passion might impact another soul, especially an introvert or a shy one that may not want to be on camera, maybe just want to use their voice. Some of us used to do that for a living.
2,624 views on it already. And it's on the same video that has Wheezy Blonde, A&B Convos, Cultaholic, Denise Salcedo.
Hey, we all love Denise.
So we're lumped in there, like James said, with some of the biggest streamers and reactors.
That's really fun and awesome. And again, let's all keep having fun demonstrating our love for professional wrestling. Damn it. So thank you for that share, Jade. And again, thank you, Geekbox. Please subscribe to Geekbox today. But more importantly, again, subscribe to the Rage of Wrestling. Damn, you're right, Walter. Shelter. Subscribe to the Rage of Wrestling. Subscribe to the Rage of Wrestling. Subscribe to the Rage of Wrestling. Link will be in the description down below. Get him to his milestones. Let's get this boy to WrestleMania, and let's get his channel level up. Speaking of level up, stay tuned because me and him soon enough will be starting Simply Gaming content. I invite all of you to join the fun too, whether virtually in podcasts or online in video games. We talk about games, including not limited to the likes of Wheel of Fortune, Uno, Jeopardy, Cuphead. We talked about Monopoly. We talked about Jackbox Party Pass. We talked about wrestling, Mortal Kombat. Again, you don't know what might come up, but we're going to try and pilot something here soon enough. Tetris Effect for those that just want a little piece in their life. We'll see soon enough. Again, those are just random names for some of the games between me and him that we own, so stay tuned. And again, that's PlayStation so far. We'll figure out Nintendo later. That's a different animal. Again, this gentleman will be at AEW Revolution, so please follow good old JM on the social media, as you see right there. Follow Meech's Music, of course, and again, Jeff motherfucking Meechum. He's the guy that really inspired all of us to really start this whole thing in the first place, especially this wrestling content journey for me since 2017, since discovering him. These guys know DQ, forever grateful. And speaking of me, I don't plug me, but I know people like the predictions leagues. Where they find the forums, gotta tell them anyway. So find me on the social medias and on YouTube and Fox 916 for all things wrestling. Keep up predictions leagues. Again, the All Elite League starts this weekend, and the forum will be out after City Predicting on all my social medias and on No DQ social medias as well. You will have until the boom is dropped by the guy from Costco on the 0 hour to make your predictions a final. Again, subscribe to everybody here at the Super Reliable Studios because this content is only going to increase from here as long as my voice continues. And she may not be part of the Super Reliable Studios, but she is a great friend, contributor, and a voice to Saturday Shenanigans. And, of course, we always encourage people to subscribe to the content creator. So please, you'll find the description link down below again. Batty for Wrestling. Subscribe to Batty for Wrestling today for all your latest updates and all your latest video content, maybe some reactions and reviews regarding WWE, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Me and her might be collabing here very soon for something like the New Japan Cup, so stay tuned for more on that. Courtesy of Ash. Subscribe today. Batty for Wrestling. Again, welcome to the world of content creating, my friend.
My new best friend.
Cool. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Again, that's really all I gotta say for now. But you know how I always like to leave you and remind you. Again, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans with opinions, with passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality to treasure your families, and just your life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much to the AW fam. Thank you, JJ, James, King. Again, Eric, you're a madman. My friend, Amara J across the pond, Sienna, Chanel, JD Ultra, Casey Flynn, Jose, Josh, everybody that's been part of the AW fam, then, now, and if so, forever. Our enforcer, Lex, again, thriving on wrestling, protecting each other's mentalities, and joining each other's companies virtually and together. You all made this possible, and I'm forever grateful for all of you. And I hope that this continues for longevity of the wrestling business and my vocal cords too. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. Know when the next video goes live on this channel. If you choose to be part of the fun, the shared fun most of the time with the Simply Reliable Studios. Hit the subscribe button. Let's see how high I can get this thing to go. Who knows? Maybe I'll figure out some milestone things. If there's certain things that people want from this channel, let me know, and maybe I'll figure out a milestone goal, because most of my stuff is just collabing with my friends here, all right? It's more about them. It's more about wrestling. It's not about me, but I can understand how being a conduit to this helps others in the longevity. So let's keep freaking going.
Well,
yes,
it looks like you're currently at 377 subscribers. So let's try to figure something out for you to do when you hit 500.
Yay!
Okay, I fear what you all might come up with, but I trust y'all that will only look out for the best of, I guess, mine and I guess professional wrestling content interest. But okay, I'm a little bit nervous now that that's out there in the ether. But okay, I guess we'll see.
We love doing watch-alongs and stuff, and you know, maybe we can come up with like a really shitty show to do a watch-along to, like a retro watch-along. Just to try to have some comedy. It would be like a Mystery Science Theater 3000, where we're watching something that's garbage, and
with entertainer-like music in the background.
And we're making entertainer-like music in the back. Still calling the action like we do, but just, you know, clowning on it. Something like December to Dismember.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have to be that show.
Absolutely
it doesn't have to be that show, but something along that lines where we know it's a shitastic pay-per-view.
Exactly. And that absolutely deserves this music.
I mean,
James is losing his mind. Continue though, JJ. All right, James, calm down, bro.
Just,
Go ahead,
just
JJ.
something to think of. I mean, we can put a poll out there, people to come up with some really shitty wrestling pay-per-views. And when we get to 500, whatever one gets the most votes will be the one that we do a watch along to, a retro watch along.
All right, well, I guess that's one idea on the ether. We'll see what else the Super Reliable Studios community, the ATW family, and the Renegades group and the Rage of Wrestling's group also come up too. So we'll see. Again, folks, as far as further content and collaboration with Reliable Studios, my channel, again, Sleep Addicting, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after TNA Impact, literally here on the East Coast tonight. Then we'll be back here with not one, not two, not three, 4 straight days of streaming in a way because, right? What the heck? We got the Saturday Shenanigans, of course, hosted by you, the Ranker Wrestling JJ Williams, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday night. Then we got AEW Revolution Sunday night. It will be, I believe, Walter and James on the 0 hour. And then, of course, I'll join the fray during the main show, as is tradition. So, again, enjoy the boom. Whether or not you shop at Costco. And then Monday night, we got, of course, Monday Night Raw from the Garden, headlined by CM Punk for Seth freaking Rollins inside a steel cage. Something tells me we're going to acknowledge not an ending, but something else. Tuesday night, of course, we have NXT Roadblock to finish that stream of watch-alongs. We're headlined by Julia Verstappen for the NXT Women's and NXT Women's North American Championship and the TNA Tag Champions on the line, as well as the NXT Championship, as Silva Femme defends against Moose and the Hardys defend against Fraxon. That's so much more to coming down the line, the short-term pipeline here at the Super Reliable Studio. So stay tuned for more on that. And I think with that being said, as I might maybe even finally revamp my intro video on this channel since I've moved, I think I will finally bid you all now a fine adieu. It's been a wonderful, incredible, wholesome, fantastic, despite the fact that I might want to sleep for Seed Orioles, edition of the AEW Review Impromptu here. Again, happy anniversary, AEW fam. 5 years. Let's keep it going as long as we're fans of professional wrestling. But until next time, I think I finally will close my mouth and cease speaking after saying this. Thank you all once again. God bless you. Love you. Make a positive impact in life and have a good night. And thank you for tuning in to another ATW View Impromptu. Have a good night, folks.
Congratulations again on 5 years.
Right. 5-year milestone. And that better not be copyright. That better not be copyright there, man. I'm just saying. If that's copyright, then you're going to freaking get, well, I guess I'm not freaking monetized. So why the fuck do I care? It's
Mini Monet for TBS champion.
Mini Monet.
Mini Monet for TBS champion. That's what we're going to end with. Are you serious? Freaking Mini Monet is more popular than most things, and this is wrong on so many levels, and yet so right.
What would you rather have, Noah? Mini Monet as your TBS champion or Big Boom AJ as your TNT champion? It's a button, Noah.
Mini Monet for life. All right, you freaking won me over right there. All right, I'm hitting the button finally. Y'all are freaking crazy, and I love you. And King, damn it, believe in Joe Hendry.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
No.
Yes.
Hater, freaking hater. All right, goodbye.
Joe Hendry for president.
Yes, I believe in far better than the damage orange in our office. Okay, I'm not trying to be political here. Let's thing out. We've already had enough fruit talk tonight where I broke King. He doesn't need enough fruit on his mind. All right. Y'all crazy.
Hit the end.